Chapter 26. To be able to trap a 1,000-year shadow leopard, this spider had to be at least a 1,000-year spirit beast. Lin Feng completely ignored the shadow leopard that was still screaming. He focused on observing the surroundings, trying to find the hidden predator. However, after a few minutes, the shadow leopard had already fainted from the poison on the spiderweb. Lin Feng still had no results. Ding! After an intense battle, the host has forced the 976-year shadow leopard into a dead end. Battle experience has increased. Experience plus 7548 at this time. The system's summary of the battle just now came out. A soul beast that was close to 1,000 years old gave over 7,000 experience. Not bad. But then again, could it be that the spider was not at home? It had been so long and there was no movement. Did it really go out? When this thought appeared in his mind, Lin Feng's body couldn't help but relax. At this moment, a spider web suddenly shot out from the tree above Lin Feng's head and attacked him. The spider web was extremely fast. Because Lin Feng was relaxed, he didn't react immediately. In the blink of an eye, it was stuck to Lin Feng's chest. In the next second, there was a huge force at the end of the spider web that dragged Lin Feng into the air. Because there was no support point, Lin Feng couldn't stop it for a while. However, he reacted quickly. The 1,000-trickery ruler turned into a long whip and whipped the tree trunk to the side. Following that, the section wrapped around the tree trunk turned into an iron ring. At the same time, a small dagger appeared in Lin Feng's right hand, and he quickly cut the spiderweb. As the pulling force disappeared, the distance between the long whip and Lin Feng was shortened rapidly. It was like a tree pulling a person. Soon, Lin Feng landed beside the tree. This wasn't the end. Lin Feng condensed a long spear and threw it in the direction of the spiderweb. Chi! Vaguely, Lin Feng seemed to hear the sound of a long spear piercing through flesh. In the next second, accompanied by a shrill zhi-zhi sound, a 2-meter-long spider jumped down from the tree. This spider had a huge belly that was almost a meter long. There were strange, ghostly runes on it. It looked very terrifying. But now, this horror was a little awkward because there was a white spear in its stomach. This thing was called a ghost head stalking spider. Judging from the color of its ghostly patterns, it should be around 1,300 years old. These spiders were very patient and very strong. They were best at sneak attacking their prey when they were unprepared and then using the poison on their silk to paralyze them. However, these spiders also had their shortcomings, and that was that their frontal combat strength was not strong, and their defense was not that good either. Just now, it probably didn't expect Lin Feng to have a long-range attack, so it was directly hit by the spear. I'll kill you while you're down. Lin Feng didn't dare to underestimate a 1,000-year soul beast. He conjured another spear in his hand and threw it at the ghost head stalking spider. At the same time, he quickly approached the spider. Whoosh! He missed. The spear pierced through the air and stabbed into the tree behind. Although it was injured, the 1,000-year soul beast's strength was still very strong. After dodging the spear, it immediately spat silk at Lin Feng. At this time, Lin Feng waved his hand. Whether it was the spear in the tree or the spider's stomach, they all turned into white light and flew into Lin Feng's hand. Lin Feng dodged the spider's silk and slashed forward with both hands. At first glance, this slash looked like Lin Feng was grabbing the air and doing something stupid. But halfway through the slash, a 2-meter-long saber suddenly formed. Gotcha! All 8 of the spider's legs were neatly broken. The main reason was that Lin Feng had closed in on it. Coupled with the sudden appearance of the saber and the fact that the ghost head stalking spider was injured, it was only able to dodge in time. However, it couldn't dodge. It was already injured, and now 8 of its legs were broken. This spider wouldn't be able to dodge a second slash. Die! Lin Feng's second slash fell and directly chopped it to death. As if afraid that the spider would come back to life, Lin Feng slashed it a few more times. When a spider's soul rings flew out, he cursed and stopped. Damn it, that sneak attack scared me to death. Putting away the 1,000-G ruler, Lin Feng's immeasurable flower appeared in his right hand. With a wave of his soul power, a white lotus bloomed. Lin Feng's physical strength quickly recovered, and at the same time, his frightened little soul was comforted. The sudden sneak attack, just now, especially when he was in a relaxed state, gave him a thrilling feeling. However, after suffering this loss, Lin Feng felt that he wouldn't make the same mistake again. In dangerous places, one should be fully focused and vigilant. One shouldn't relax, even for a single breath. Ding! After a thrilling battle, the host has killed the 89-year-old beast, Ghost Head Stalking Spider. Battle experience has greatly increased. Experience plus 16465. Fighting a 1,000-year-old beast gave me so much experience? No. Lin Feng discovered a detail. Battle experience has greatly increased. No matter when, the system had never shown the word greatly before. At most, it would show the word slightly, and a slightly better word would be slightly. This was the first time he had seen such a large increase. He didn't expect the experience to be so much. However, it should be this much. After all, that was the most thrilling battle Lin Feng had ever experienced. He was almost injured, what a joke. After half a minute, Lin Feng calmed down and had time to look at the spider soul ring. It was a purple 89-year-old ring, and it was a control-type soul ring. Lin Feng didn't rush to absorb it. Instead, he turned around to look at the shadow leopard still entangled in the spider's web. After thinking about it, he compared the two. The 1,000-year-old ring was more economical. With that thought, Lin Feng directly absorbed the purple 1,000-year-old ring in front of him. According to the master's theory, the limit of a second soul ring should be 700 years. If it exceeded this age, the body wouldn't be able to withstand it. However, Lin Feng's body was much stronger than a normal rank 20 soul master. He couldn't be bound by common sense. The feeling of absorbing a 1,000-year soul ring. How should he describe it? It was like eating while soaking in a hot spring, but this time, he was much more full than last time. He felt bloated. I think I ate a little too much. Although it was a little uncomfortable, it could be seen that this soul ring hadn't reached Lin Feng's limit. Lin Feng estimated that he should be able to absorb a 2,000-year soul ring. Even if it was a 3,000-year soul ring, he would still dare to absorb it with his first soul skill activated. Of course, it was useless to say this now. He had already absorbed the soul ring, so he couldn't just spit it out and exchange it for another one. Right now, it was better to take a good look at how much improvement this soul ring had brought him. This was a 1,000-year soul ring. Lin Feng was still looking forward to his second soul skill. P.S. Rolling on the ground, begging for a recommendation ticket. Chapter 27. Name: Lin Feng Martial Soul. 1,000 Trickster Ruler. Immeasurable Flower Soul Power. Rank 23, plus Soul Ring. Snow Lotus 100 years, plus Ghost Head Predatory Spider 1,289 years, plus Experience Points. 253840. After absorbing the 1,000-year soul ring, Lin Feng's soul power level jumped by 2 ranks, directly reaching rank 23. But that wasn't the main point. The main point was that over 200,000 experience points. TSK, that was a lot. But in the next second, Lin Feng couldn't laugh anymore. This was because he discovered that strengthening a 1,000-year soul ring once required 300 experience points. Cough, cough. I thought that 200,000 experience points was a lot, but now it seems that it can't be increased by many years. But in terms of soul power level, strengthening a soul ring only required 1,000 experience points. Lin Feng smiled and directly spent 7,000 experience points to raise the soul ring to rank 30. With the mentality of a nouveau riche, Lin Feng waved his hand and spent nearly 90,000 experience points to increase the soul ring's age to 999 years. But fortunately, he didn't continue because the system said that a soul ring from 999 years to a 1,000-year soul ring required 100,000 experience points. Of course, the experience points were only one thing. The most important thing was that the 100-year soul ring was also a layer of cover. Otherwise, After evolving to a purple thousand-year soul ring, Lin Feng wouldn't have to use soul skills for a period of time. What a joke. If word got out that his first soul ring was a thousand-year soul ring, the Martial Soul Hall might even send titled Douluo to arrest him. For his safety in the future, Lin Feng's hands shouldn't tremble. After a while, Lin Feng felt that his strength had improved by leaps and bounds. The increase in the age of his first soul ring, the absorption of a thousand-year soul ring, and the addition of his soul power level to rank 30. Soul Elder? He was sent flying with a slap. The current Lin Feng was definitely a soul ancestor. Right, there was also a second soul skill. Lin Feng sensed it for a while and understood what kind of soul skill it was. After using the immeasurable flower, the second petal turned purple. Lin Feng confirmed his guess. This martial soul could indeed evolve. Even if it wasn't an evolution, when the entire flower changed color, there would definitely be a huge change. However, this was a matter for the future. Right now, Lin Feng wanted to test out his second soul skill. Second soul skill, Shadow Bind. With a low shout, Lin Feng's purple soul ring instantly lit up. In the next second, a ball of dark purple light flew out from Lin Feng's hand. It streaked across the air like a stream of light and directly hit the unconscious shadow leopard that had been entangled in the spider web for a long time. Shadow Leopard, you're a real dog. Shadow Binding was a name that Lin Feng came up with himself. It was very vivid. The effect was also very powerful. It was able to bind the enemy and had a paralyzing poison that could cause the enemy to faint. Do you think that's all? No. After the enemy fainted, this soul skill could also temporarily steal 10% of their attributes and use it to strengthen oneself for an hour. This effect was too heaven-defying. A godly AoE skill, under certain conditions, as long as he could steal enough attributes. Lin Feng would even dare to fight with a titled Soul Master Douluo. Cough cough, of course it was just a thought. Not to mention how many Soul Masters he could steal attributes from. Even if he really fought with a titled Soul Master Douluo, the other party wouldn't just stand there and wait for him to become stronger. In the end, Lin Feng didn't kill the Shadow Leopard. Poor little guy. It was probably scared silly today. Lin Feng rescued it from the spider web and removed the poison from its body. He even considerately healed its injuries. Soon, the Shadow Leopard on the ground woke up. In a daze, the Shadow Leopard propped itself up on all fours and quickly stood up. Why does it feel a little oppressive, as if there's something extra on its body? The Shadow Leopard turned its head and saw Lin Feng sitting on its back. It was so scared that it jumped a few meters into the air. Lin Feng didn't move at all. The Thousand Trickery Ruler formed a saddle and tied him firmly to the Shadow Leopard's back. It couldn't fall off at all. Xiaoying, what are you afraid of? I'm your savior. Soul beasts under 1,000 years old didn't have any intelligence. They relied on their instincts to act. Only soul beasts over 1,000 years old would gradually develop intelligence. The Shadow Leopard clearly didn't understand Lin Feng's words. Fortunately, it didn't. Otherwise, it would have been angered to death. If Lin Feng hadn't chased after it, nothing would have happened to it. How could he call himself a savior? How could he save a ghost? The Shadow Leopard shook its body wildly, trying to throw Lin Feng off its back. However, Lin Feng was like a part of the Shadow Leopard's body. It couldn't shake him off, but it couldn't go on like this. It was just too lazy to walk. Plus, this leopard's patterns were beautiful. Was it that hard to get him out? Quiet. Lin Feng shouted as he patted the leopard's head. It was useless. The Shadow Leopard jumped even more vigorously. Hey, I can't deal with you anymore. Lin Feng raised both his hands. The small hammer in his left hand and the large hammer at his right. Small hammer 80, large hammer 100. At first it was useless, but after half a minute, the dumb leopard's head was smashed until it was dizzy. Finally, it slowly lay on the ground. However, it didn't submit. It shook its head and growled. When Lin Feng ran down, it wanted to bite him. "Sai, forget it. I don't want it anymore." After thinking about it, Lin Feng found it troublesome and was too lazy to keep it. But before he left, he still wanted to heal it. With that thought, Lin Feng summoned the immeasurable flower and healed the dumb leopard's injuries. After doing that, Lin Feng turned around and left. But after taking 2 steps, Lin Feng turned around and found that the leopard didn't run away. Instead, it followed him. When he turned around, the leopard immediately stopped in its tracks with a vigilant look on its face. Seeing this, Lin Feng shook his head and continued to walk forward. However, when he walked, the leopard walked. When he stopped, the leopard stopped. Even when he retreated, the leopard followed suit. No, what's the meaning of this? Is a mangy dog? Soon, Lin Feng seemed to have thought of something and summoned the immeasurable flower. You want this? As he spoke, he emitted life force. The shadow leopard, who was originally slightly vigilant, walked straight toward Lin Feng. It even had a look of enjoyment on its face. Lin Feng was slightly stunned. His life force had a certain affinity with wild beasts, but that was only limited to wild beasts. Now, even soul beasts had an effect. Interesting. He didn't probe further. Looking at the shadow leopard leaning against him with a look of enjoyment, Lin Feng touched its head. It was furry and comfortable to the touch. One hand wasn't enough, so Lin Feng touched it with both hands. At this time, the martial soul was withdrawn and its life force disappeared. The shadow leopard actually turned hostile and bared its teeth at Lin Feng. Smack! Lin Feng slapped the leopard's head. Look at how spoiled you are. The latter let out an aggrieved cry. Chapter 28. In the end, this stupid leopard was successfully subdued by Lin Feng and named Xiaoying. The reason was because of his immeasurable flower. The vitality was extremely attractive to Xiaoying. It could even help him increase his strength and break through to a 1,000-year soul beast. Right, there was another important point. After his vitality was absorbed by Xiaoying, he seemed to have gained intelligence in advance. At least, he could understand some simple words that Lin Feng said. Late at night, Lin Feng found a dry cave. There seemed to be traces of people living in it, but there was no one now. He planned to spend the night here. He used a 1,000G ruler to transform a 2-meter bed and let Xiaoying lie in it. He slept directly on Xiaoying's stomach. It was furry and comfortable to sleep. In the morning, Lin Feng was awakened by Xiaoying's tongue. He let out a low growl and looked ahead vigilantly. Seeing this, Lin Feng knew that someone must be approaching here. Listening to the footsteps, there were quite a few people, about 6 or 7. Moreover, they were very close, about 30 to 40 meters. They should be passing by here. Lin Feng walked directly out of the cave, and Xiaoying hid under Lin Feng's command and took the opportunity to go out later. Just as he left the cave, Lin Feng happened to encounter the middle area of the soul-hunting forest. Soul masters who dared to come here were definitely not weak. At this time, it was a bit difficult for him to run away quietly. After thinking, Lin Feng immediately put on his mask. A group of people, just a face-to-face. Lin Feng's face was slightly embarrassed because he found that this group of people was actually the Martial Spear Hall's patrol team. The logo on their clothes was too conspicuous. Fortunately, Lin Feng was wearing a mask, so the group of people couldn't see Lin Feng's expression. Otherwise, they would definitely be suspicious. There's still people here? The leader was slightly surprised. This small cave was considered a resting spot for the patrol team in the soul-hunting forest. They came here to rest and have breakfast, but they did not expect to see someone here. I spent the night here last night. I'll leave immediately. Lin Feng's slightly hoarse voice came out of his mouth. As he spoke, he turned around and left. Encountering the enforcement team, Lin Feng tried to bluff his way through. However, Lin Feng's plan didn't work. The leader of the group immediately said, "Wait, look at the order." These words caused Lin Feng to stop in his tracks. Then, he directly faced the crowd. Without saying a word, he stretched out his hands and a long staff appeared in front of him. A minute later, the only person still standing was the Soul Elder Captain, who'd activated his protective soul skill. He was puzzled. Why do you provoke our martial spirit palace? Who are you after all? Lin Feng's brows furrowed slightly before they finally relaxed. He smiled and said, "Remember, my name is Lin Hai, the son of Carry City Lord. My grandfather is a baron. I just don't like your martial spirit palace. If you have the guts, come to Carrie City and beat me up." After saying that, Lin Feng continued to wave his staff and knocked the last soul elder unconscious. Why didn't he kill them? It wasn't that Lin Feng was afraid of killing, but that he couldn't kill them. In the future, he would rely on the soul-hunting forest to make money. How could he cause trouble? One had to know that knocking someone unconscious and killing them were two completely different things. If he knocked them unconscious, the martial spirit palace would at most increase their patrols in the soul-hunting forest. There wouldn't be any fundamental changes. At worst, he could just get a warrant in the future. It wasn't that hard to get a warrant, and he could buy one with money. But if he killed them, in this era where the martial spirit palace was at its peak, it would be an act of offending the dignity of the martial spirit palace. The higher-ups would definitely send someone to thoroughly investigate this matter. After all, the soul-hunting forest was a very important place. It was reasonable for something like this to happen. In fact, Lin Feng was also an exception among exceptions. Why did the martial spirit palace only have a soul elder patrol team captain, and not a soul master of a higher rank? That was because a soul master of this rank could already deal with people who smuggled themselves in. After all, the soul masters who smuggled themselves in were usually below rank 30. Which soul ancestor would smuggle themselves in? Wasn't this just looking for trouble? But unfortunately, Lin Feng was the one who looked for trouble. Speaking of which, he even tricked that fool Lin Hai in the end. It was quite interesting. A guy who hadn't experienced the vicious beating of society. Hopefully, after experiencing this matter, he would know what it meant to be humble. "Xiaoying, let's go." Lin Feng had a sense of propriety. He wouldn't let them faint for too long. After all, in the soul-hunting forest, they would be eaten by soul beasts if they were knocked out for too long. But this also meant that he had to hurry. He estimated that at most half a day, the number of patrols in the soul-hunting forest would more than double. He had to kill 2 suitable soul beasts during this time. As for why he had to kill 2 soul beasts, it was because Lin Feng's remaining experience should be enough for him to reach rank 40. In any case, Xiaoying was a soul beast that lived in the soul-hunting forest. Although it was only in the middle region, it still knew a little about the territories of some powerful soul beasts. Lin Feng's requirements for his 3rd soul beast were very simple. It had to be an offensive or defensive type soul beast. After all, he already had a recovery skill and a control skill. He still lacked escape, offensive, and defensive skills. That's right, there was also a flying skill. It would be best if he had one too. However, among the skills that he wanted, what he lacked the most were offensive and defensive methods. After all, it felt a little monotonous to use the 1,000 trickster ruler in battle. Having a powerful offensive skill was the most effective way to increase his battle strength. At this moment, under Xiaoying's lead, Lin Feng went to a place where soul beasts were several thousand years old. As for the specific strength and type of soul beast, Lin Feng had no way to find out from Xiaoying. After all, he only knew how to howl. Lin Feng could tell that this soul beast was several thousand years old was already very impressive. Starting from the middle region of the soul-hunting forest, the number of soul beasts gradually decreased. Most of them were territorial soul beasts that were several hundred years old or over 1,000 years old. At this moment, under Xiaoying's lead, Lin Feng wandered around the forest for more than half an hour, but he still couldn't find the soul beast shadow. "Xiaoying, why are you so dull? Did you remember the wrong place?" Lin Feng sat on Xiaoying's back, extremely bored. Well, it whimpered twice, which was considered a response. Suddenly, Xiaoying raised its head and looked to the right, a trace of fear in its eyes. Dong dong, dong dong. It was a rhythmic vibration, and one could tell that it was a huge monster running. "What are you afraid of?" "I'm here, go." Lin Feng patted Xiaoying's head, then summoned the immeasurable flower, which emitted vitality. Under the influence of the vitality, Xiaoying's fear was quickly suppressed, and it ran to the right. After a while, Lin Feng passed through the bushes and arrived at the place where the vibration was. "Oh my God, Xiaoying, you're in for a treat." Seeing the scene in front of him, Lin Feng sighed. Chapter 29. It turned out to be a 5-meter-long armored bear. It looked like a small mountain. The armored bear was a powerful soul beast that had both offense and defense. It was slightly stronger than ordinary soul beasts, and its strength could be judged based on the color of its fur. At this moment, the bear in front of him had dark gray fur and should be a 3,000-year soul beast. However, it could unleash the strength of an ordinary 4,000-year soul beast. A soul beast of this strength was quite a challenge for Lin Feng. Roar! The armored bear was extremely violent. After discovering Lin Feng, it roared and charged over. Lin Feng didn't panic at all. 2 soul rings, one yellow and one purple, appeared instantly. Following that, the purple soul ring lit up and a dark purple light flew out, instantly wrapping around the armored bear. The silhouette exploded and turned into a giant net, trapping him tightly. However, the armored bear was extremely strong. With a low roar, the dark gray fur on its body instantly blossomed with a dazzling light. Under this light, Lin Feng's huge net instantly dissipated, revealing the armored bear that seemed to be wearing armor. It stood up straight and roared at Lin Feng, its eyes filled with disdain. It was as if it was mocking him. Just this? However, halfway through its roar, Lin Feng's purple soul ring lit up again, and again, and again, and again, like a machine gun. Lin Feng's soul ring flickered faster and faster. As for the dark purple shadows, they crashed into the iron armor bear. In the beginning, the armored bear could still continue to roar and break free from the huge net. But later on, not to mention breaking free, it couldn't even roar. Before it was completely wrapped up by the huge net, the armored bear's eyes were filled with shock and doubt. Armored bear? You can't afford to play, right? It had to be said that the armored bear's defense was still astonishing. It could still jump on the ground after being trapped by so many layers of the huge net with paralyzing poison. After waiting for a full 3 minutes, it slowly quieted down. At this time, Lin Feng felt that it was still not safe. He added more than 10 layers of webs and waited for another 5 minutes for the poison to completely penetrate. Only then did he melt the spider webs on the bear's head. As the saying goes, villains die because they talk too much, and righteous people die because they don't finish the job. In order to prevent any accidents from happening, Lin Feng picked up his broadsword and chopped at the bear's head as soon as it appeared. Clang! The saber was still unable to kill it, and even the saber was bounced back. Clang! Clang! Crack! Lin Feng slashed at the same spot 3 more times before killing it. Ding! After a smart battle, the host has killed the 32 15-year-old beast, the armored bear. Combat experience has increased. Experience plus 45612. The system's evaluation was really accurate. Being able to kill this bear this time was really due to Lin Feng's resourcefulness. One had to know that the bear had been paralyzed and was in a relaxed state. Lin Feng had to slash it 4 times with all his strength before he could kill it. If it was like before and its fur turned into armor, Lin Feng reckoned that it would be difficult to even break its defense, let alone kill it. Also, with so many webs wrapped around the bear's body, the paralyzing poison in them could probably even poison a Soul King. This bear resisted for about 3 minutes before collapsing. Its resistance was really high. After the armored bear's soul ring rose, Lin Feng waved his hand and stored all the paralyzing poison in its body. Glancing at Xiaoying, who was almost drooling, Lin Feng smiled. Eat, it's all yours. There were many ways for soul beasts to increase their cultivation quickly. They could eat heaven and earth treasures, cultivate in a place with dense soul power, or eat high-level soul beast meat, etc. It was obvious that the 3,000-year armored bear's meat was a great supplement for Xiaoying. Furthermore, there was a high possibility that it would advance to a 1,000-year soul beast after eating it. Mmph. After crying out in joy, Xiaoying immediately pounced on it and ate heartily. On the other hand, Lin Feng waved his hand. Under the guidance of his soul power, the soul ring instantly entered his body. Cough, cough. This time, Lin Feng didn't feel like he was eating while soaking in a hot spring. Instead, his entire body felt dry, as if he was in a sauna. Although the feeling was different, it was still as fast as before. In a few breaths' time, the soul ring had been completely absorbed. Name: Lin Feng Martial Soul. Thousand Trickster Ruler, Immeasurable Flower Soul Power. Rank 33, plus Soul Ring. Snow Lotus 999, plus Ghost Head Stalking Spider 1289, plus Armored Bear 3215, plus Experience 202552. As usual, the first thing Lin Feng did was look at the experience points required to increase his soul power rank. It actually required 10,000 experience points to increase one rank. Without hesitation, Lin Feng immediately spent 70,000 experience points to increase his soul power rank to 40. After that, Lin Feng properly felt the strength and soul skill of the Armored Bear. After a few seconds, Lin Feng directly summoned his soul ring and activated his soul skill. Third soul skill, Armored Demonic Bear Transformation. As Lin Feng's third soul ring lit up, a layer of bright white light actually enveloped Lin Feng completely. From afar, it looked as if Lin Feng was wearing battle armor. It was super cool. The Armored Demonic Bear Transformation was a relatively comprehensive transformation skill. After using it, a layer of energy would envelop Lin Feng, increasing his physical strength, attack power, and defense by 400%. It would last for 1 hour. This was similar to Dai Mubai's third soul skill, but has only increased it by 2 times, while his own increased it by 4 times. All in all, this soul skill was pretty strong. It was a pity that it didn't increase all attributes by 4 times, otherwise it would be even stronger. Hopefully, after the soul ring evolved, its effects would also evolve. After testing the soul skill, he turned his head and saw that Xiao Ying had unknowingly fallen into a deep sleep. Looking at the armored bear's corpse, not much of its meat had been eaten. The main thing was that its heart, which contained a large amount of energy, had been eaten. Right now, Xiao Ying was probably evolving. Lin Feng thought for a moment, then directly summoned the immeasurable flower, which had an additional color, and began to transfer life energy to Xiao Ying. Life energy was a good thing. Hopefully, it would help Xiao Ying's advancement. After a minute, it seemed to have reached a state of saturation. Lin Feng couldn't transfer any more life energy, and only then did he stop. This was the armored bear's territory. There were basically no other soul beasts around, so Xiao Ying's advancement was very safe here. After calculating the time, the team that he had knocked out earlier should have already reported the situation. Lin Feng didn't have much time left. Without waiting for Xiao Ying to advance, Lin Feng directly walked into the depths of the forest. He had to find a 4th suitable soul ring in the next 1 or 2 hours. However, after more than an hour, Lin Feng finally returned gloomily. There was no other reason. Lin Feng didn't even see the face of a soul beast, let alone find a suitable soul ring. The soul hunting forest was a man-made forest. There weren't many thousand-year soul beasts, and the number of 5,000-year soul beasts could be counted with one's hand. Encountering one depended on luck. Obviously, Lin Feng wasn't that lucky. Chapter 30. Not finding a suitable 4th soul ring in the soul hunting forest wasn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, Lin Feng was a little impatient just now. It wasn't a problem for his 4th soul ring to absorb a 10,000-year soul ring, but he actually thought that a 5,000-year soul ring would suffice. This idea was too scary. It was simply the idea of a prodigal. What was the difference between a 5,000-year soul ring and a 10,000-year soul ring? How much experience would he need to make up for it? Why didn't he have any idea? Thinking about it carefully, it was mainly because Lin Feng had advanced too quickly. The feeling of his strength exploding made him addicted, and he wanted to increase his rank quickly. However, it wasn't too late to wake up now. Going to the forest with many soul beasts for his 4th soul ring was the right way to go. With his current Soul King and Soul Emperor level strength, he should be able to kill a 10,000-year soul beast. Just as he was thinking about this, Xiao Ying in front of him suddenly moved. Immediately after, a dense black light enveloped him. After a few seconds, Xiao Ying with a new skin appeared. More accurately speaking, perhaps because of Lin Feng's life energy, Xiaoying evolved from shadow leopard to a wind shadow leopard. Although it was only a difference of one word, the difference in strength was huge. A soul beast's strength was affected not only by its age, but also by its bloodline. If he were to forcefully describe it, it would be a little abstract. Lin Feng divided the bloodlines here. A soul beast bloodline could be roughly divided into 4 levels: ordinary, elite, savage beast, and ancient savage beast. Generally speaking, when soul beasts advanced in age, for example, 99 years to 100 years, 999 years to 1,000 years, etc., a soul beast bloodline would most likely not change, even when it advanced to a 100,000-year soul beast. Just like Xiao Wu, a 100,000-year softbone rabbit, it was still a soul beast with an ordinary bloodline. Unless you had a fortuitous encounter, it would cause your bloodline to evolve. It was obvious that Lin Feng was Xiao Ying's fortuitous encounter. When it advanced, he injected a large amount of life energy into it, causing its bloodline to change from an ordinary shadow leopard to an elite wind shadow leopard. The wind shadow leopard was similar to the steel armored bear in that it was able to unleash greater strength than normal soul beasts. Right now, Xiaoying was able to blend into the darkness of the night. Without a detection-type soul skill or sharp senses, no one would be able to detect him. In addition, it also had the ability to control the wind. It could use wind blades to attack enemies, run fast enough, and even glide in the air for a short period of time. To put it simply, Lin Feng's mount had leveled up. Unfortunately, it was best not to bring Xiao Ying out of the soul-hunting forest. It was safe here. If it went out, whether it was in Nodding City or in the forest, it would be a dangerous decision. Therefore, at this moment, Lin Feng could only say, "Xiao Ying, I really want to take you out, but it's very dangerous outside. Stay in the forest. I'll come back to see you soon. It's best if you stay in the middle section. There are far fewer soul cultivators there than in the outer section, and the soul beasts there aren't that strong either. You won't be in any danger if you hide there." After becoming a 1,000-year soul beast, Xiao Ying had become smarter. It could even understand sentences. It was also very clear that the reason why it could become so intelligent was all thanks to Lin Feng. Even though they had only interacted for a short period of time, Xiao Ying's feelings for Lin Feng were very deep. When it heard that Lin Feng was about to leave, it immediately lay on the ground and lowered its head to rub against Lin Feng's body. It was very reluctant to part with him. Lin Feng wasn't that reluctant because he would be back soon. Lin Feng definitely wouldn't go to the Martial Soul Hall to register and receive subsidies. If he wanted to earn money, the fastest way was to snatch, cough cough, it was to bring people to obtain soul rings. Places like the Stardow Great Forest and the Setting Sun Forest might be able to earn more money, but they were too far away. It was okay to go there once or twice, but if he went there often, he'd forget about it. The soul hunting forest was just right. Lin Feng could earn money and experience here. At the same time, he could ride Xiao Ying's flashy mount. It was a good place to kill 3 birds with 1 stone. I'll be back soon. It was almost time. After comforting Xiao Ying a few more times, Lin Feng quickly walked out of the soul hunting forest. On the way out, Lin Feng discovered that the Martial Soul Hall had increased the number of patrols in the soul hunting forest, just as he'd expected. He didn't see a single one when he entered, but he'd already seen 3 patrols when he left. However, with Lin Feng's current strength, he was able to move around stealthily. No one could discover him. It could be said that in the soul-hunting forest where soul ancestors basically wouldn't come, he was the strongest. While Lin Feng was running out, Tang San and the Grandmaster were already out of the forest. They got on a carriage and headed for Nodding City. On the other side of the city lord Lin Tao, a rank 56 soul king, was looking at the 3 soul ancestors in front of him with a gloomy face. The 3 of them had barged into the city lord's mansion. Not even the soldiers could stop them. Outside, there were 2 groups of soul grandmaster enforcers from the Martial Soul Hall. They didn't give him any face. "Lin Tao, our Martial Soul Hall received news that your son dared to attack a patrol in the soul hunting forest. How bold! Ridiculous!" Lin Tao said calmly. "My son is only a rank 10 soul scholar. Even if he obtained a soul ring, he'd be a rank 11 soul master at most. How could he attack a patrol with the strength of a soul elder? The relationship between the Martial Soul Hall and the Empire was currently in a very delicate state. On the surface, they appeared to be amiable, but once all pretense of cordiality was exposed, it would become a state of mutual hostility. Right now, in the City Lord's mansion of Kree City, the Martial Soul Hall had already shed all pretense of cordiality. But that's what our Martial Soul Hall received. You should come with us first. Lin Tao sneered. The Empire didn't give us any notice. I didn't receive any news either. I'm the City Lord of Kree City, a Viscount of the Empire. It's not good for you to just take me away like this. Are you going to defy the orders of the Martial Soul Hall? One of the enforcers shouted. Humph. Lin Tao snorted. I am the appointed City Lord of Kree City by the Heaven Do Empire. Does the Martial Soul Hall still have any respect for the Empire? With that, Lin Tao exploded with power. Yellow, yellow, purple, purple, and black. The 5 best soul rings appeared in an instant. Seeing this, the 3 enforcers looked at each other. Then, the leader said, The Hall Master will come to visit us later. Let's go. The reason why they left wasn't because they couldn't beat a Soul King. If the 3 of them worked together, they were confident that they could win. The main reason was because Lin Tao's words just now had raised this matter to the level of the Empire. The Martial Soul Hall couldn't be so arrogant right now. After the 3 of them left, Lin Tao stared in silence for a long time. Then, as if he'd thought of something, he suddenly went out and wrote an urgent letter to Heaven Do City. Chapter 31. Ignoring the situation in Tikrit City, Lin Feng had finally arrived at the border of the soul-hunting forest after running for nearly half an hour. Looking at the 10-meter-tall iron fence in front of him, Lin Feng was slightly moved. When he came in yesterday, he had to use tools to climb in, but now, if he wanted to get out, he could easily jump. In 2 days, his soul power had increased by 30 ranks, and his strength had increased by dozens of times. TSK, TSK. Even a TV series wouldn't dare to shoot like this. Sigh. Lin Feng was actually a low-profile person. Unfortunately, his strength, cough cough, he didn't allow cheating. With a light push, Lin Feng dashed out of the soul-hunting forest. After determining the direction, he quickly rushed towards Nodding City. There was a poem, I left quietly, just as I came quietly. With a wave of my sleeve, I only took a few soul rings. After his strength had increased, Lin Feng spent less than half a day to return to Nodding City. He didn't go back to school immediately. Lin Feng first rented a house in the city for 6 years and used it as a place to stay in the city during this period. The rent for 6 years wasn't expensive, only 7 gold soul coins, which was just a drop in the bucket. After tidying up the room, Lin Feng went to the city to buy a bunch of clothes and daily necessities. Because the quantity was a little large, Lin Feng spent a total of 2 gold soul coins. The way he swept the goods made the waiters in the shop envious. He was so rich. After that, Lin Feng took a shower and put on new clothes. He went out and had a good meal in a restaurant. He had been eating dry food for the past 2 days and was already sick of it. Now, of course, he had to satisfy his cravings. After eating, the sky had darkened. At this time, Lin Feng returned to the school's dormitory. Lin Feng, you're back. What have you been doing for the past few days? Tell me the truth. Just as he entered, Xiao Wu rushed up with a fierce look on her face. Before Lin Feng could answer, she said angrily, Where's Xiao San? The 2 of you ran quite easily. You made me, a little girl, have to clean the garden south of the sports field. Don't you feel guilty? So this was a reason why Xiao Wu, who seemed to be afraid of him, suddenly became so impulsive. Before Lin Feng could speak, Wang Sheng whispered, Sister Xiao Wu, you didn't come yesterday afternoon. We helped to clean up. Shut up. That's not important. Xiao Wu was so angry that her mouth was about to turn crooked. She had never met such a stupid teammate who would tear her down on the spot. Seeing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but chuckle. What are you laughing at? Xiao Wu clenched her fists and acted like a big sister. You haven't answered my question yet. Where's Xiao San? And what have you been doing these days? You're talking about Xiao San? I don't know. As for me, of course, I went to kill soul beasts. Lin Feng smiled faintly. You? You look so weak. You killed soul beasts? Wang Xing didn't believe him. He knew that Tang San was very powerful, and Lin Feng seemed to be Tang San's brother. He had never fought before and didn't even have the courage to fight with Sister Xiao Wu. He was this kind of person. If he dared to kill soul beasts, Wang Sheng would do a handstand and shit today. Xiao Wu also teased, skipping class is fine, but hunting soul beasts? Where's your soul ring? Show it. I can't. Before he finished speaking, Lin Feng suddenly erupted with power. A dark yellow soul ring rose from his feet and slowly rotated, as if it was shouting silently. 999-year soul ring. Didn't you ask me to come out? I'm coming out. Why aren't you talking? Little brother? You. Wow. Lin Feng. Oh no, Fengge. Aren't you a little too strong? That's 100-year soul ring we're talking about. One of the working students beside Wang Sheng exclaimed. He was still able to shout, which showed that he was quite strong. Most people, like Wang Sheng, were shocked speechless. After a few seconds, the crowd gathered around Lin Feng, exclaiming and praising him. I knew it. Tang San is so powerful. His brother, Fengge, must be even stronger. Xiao Qingyu has a 10-year soul ring, and he's already so arrogant. Now that Fengge has a 100-year soul ring, he'll definitely beat him up and avenge us. Everyone was not stingy with their flattering words. Only Wang Sheng stood there in a daze with a bitter look on his face. Wang Xing thought to himself, I don't want to do a handstand, and I don't want to shit. I can't shit. Lin Feng was unperturbed by the crowd's flattery. He even wanted to laugh. This was how it was when one was strong. There would always be all kinds of flattery around them. Alas, life was so simple and boring. Here, I've released the soul ring you wanted. Are you satisfied? Lin Feng put away the soul ring and smiled at Xiao Wu. He felt that it was very interesting. Xiao Wu was a little flustered, but she quickly put her hands on her waist and said, What's so powerful about that? You act as if you have a soul ring. I have one too. As soon as she finished speaking, a bright yellow soul ring appeared on Xiao Wu's body. In terms of aura, it was even stronger than Lin Feng's. In an instant, Lin Feng's friends, who had been admiring him just now, shouted, Sister Xiao Wu is awesome, and ran over to her. Lin Feng was speechless. They were really a group of fence-sitters. They ran wherever the wind was stronger. But then again, Wang Sheng said that Xiao Wu wasn't at the academy yesterday afternoon. It seemed that her soul ring had just been condensed. After 100,000-year soul beast transformed into a soul beast, its soul ring was condensed by itself. This scene should be very interesting. I'll have to see it in the future. As for the current Xiao Wu, she was a big thorn. Other than her cute appearance, her personality wasn't cute at all. Later on, she got along with Tang San for a long time. With someone controlling her, her personality improved a little. Wang Sheng and the others had been flattering Xiao Wu. This guy was so proud that he even made a face at Lin Feng. Boring, Lin Feng said grumpily, then walked to his bed and picked up the book he had been reading earlier. As for Xiao Wu, she wasn't happy at all when she didn't hit Lin Feng. Listening to the compliments of Wang Sheng and the others, she even felt that it was a little harsh. Soon, she waved her hand and dismissed them. I'm sleeping. Shouting, Xiao Wu lay back on the bed and directly covered herself with the quilt. After about 7 or 8 minutes, a corner of the quilt was pulled, revealing Xiao Wu's big eyes. She secretly meowed at Lin Feng. Lin Feng could feel Xiao Wu's gaze, but he didn't move at all. He just quietly read his book. After staring for about 10 seconds, Xiao Wu snorted softly and turned over. Her little face was full of depression. This guy was completely unfathomable. And his younger brother, Xiao San. Both of them felt that the shop wasn't simple at all. At this moment, Xiao Wu started to doubt herself. She didn't know if it was right or wrong to come to this remote nodding city. Sigh. Today was another depressed day for Bunny. Chapter 32. The next morning, Lin Feng didn't head straight to the cafeteria for lunch. Instead, he went to the administration office. Haha, it's little Feng. Director Su beamed when she saw Lin Feng. So, Have you decided on a teacher yet? If not, I'm good enough for the job. You want to know about a rank 37 soul elder? You haven't gotten your first soul ring yet, right? I'll take you to the soul hunting forest. I guarantee you'll be able to hunt 100-year soul beast. Ahem. Thank you, Director Sue. Lin Feng coughed. But I don't plan on taking you as a teacher. I'm here to get rid of my working student status. What? Director Sue exclaimed. She thought Lin Feng wanted to drop out. Lin Feng knew what Director Sue was thinking. It's not what you think. I'm here to pay my tuition. Here are 9 gold soul coins. Please change my Tang San's and Xiao Wu's working student status. I don't want to waste my time sweeping the floor. 9 gold coins. That's 6 years' worth of tuition for 3 people. You're going to pay it all at once. Director Sue exclaimed. Generally speaking, tuition was paid once a year. It was 50 silver coins per person a year. It wasn't expensive, but it wasn't cheap either. However, to be able to take out 9 gold coins at once from the hands of a 6-year-old child, that was a bit surprising. What's wrong? Can't the school pay it all at once? Lin Feng asked. No, I'll take care of the paperwork for you. Lin Feng's indifferent tone made it clear that he didn't care about the 9 gold coins at all. Director Sue was certain that Lin Feng came from some big family. As for why he was a working student, it was probably... No, he was definitely here to gain experience. Director Sue didn't dare bring up the matter of taking in a disciple. She immediately finished the paperwork and escorted Lin Feng out of the administration office with a smile on her face. Lin Feng was a little confused by Director Sue's sudden change in attitude, but he didn't pay much attention to it and ran straight to the cafeteria. As soon as he entered the cafeteria, Lin Feng saw Xiao San and greeted him with a smile. Hey, Xiao San is back. On the side, Xiao Wu was chatting happily with Xiao San just now. Now that she saw Lin Feng, she shut her mouth. Even Wang Sheng and the others were quiet. Tang San was slightly puzzled, but he didn't think too much about it. Feng Ge, I came back with the teacher in the morning. After I finished my work, I found that you were in class, so I waited for you in the cafeteria. After pausing for a moment, Tang San asked curiously, I heard from Xiao Wu and the others that you came back yesterday and even obtained 100-year soul ring. Although Xiao Wu and the others said so, Tang San still didn't believe it, because the most suitable place to obtain a soul ring near Nodding City was the soul hunting forest, which was 400 miles away, and a round trip would take about 3 days. He and the master were lucky that they met a mysterious man that night. Not only did he resolve the crisis, but he also directly obtained a soul ring. Even if they were so lucky, it took them 4 days to succeed. Lin Feng went back and forth faster than them, which was the main reason why Tang San was a little suspicious. And what about you? How are you? Lin Feng sat down calmly. The teacher took me and found it in 1 day. It was also a 100-year soul ring. It was mainly because we were lucky that the mysterious man helped us. Otherwise, the teacher's life might be in danger. When Tang San said that the teacher's life might be in danger, he meant that he would be fine and could even save the master. From Xiao Wu and the others' point of view, Tang San was implying that the master was in danger because he wanted to protect him. If something happened to the master, Tang San might also be in danger. Perhaps only Lin Feng understood the meaning behind Tang San's words. The feeling of being the only one sober in a drunken stupor was quite interesting. Wow, doesn't that mean we have 3 soul masters among the working students? And they're all geniuses of the 1st grade. Wang Sheng couldn't help but exclaim. Although his voice wasn't loud, the surrounding students all heard him. However, no one believed him. All the surrounding students looked at him as if they were looking at an idiot. Xiao Wu couldn't stand being stared at like that. She immediately jumped up and started cursing. But at that moment, an ear-piercing voice interrupted them. Yo, Wang Sheng, you working students don't even have a draft for your bragging? Didn't you only have 2 soul masters this morning? How come there are 3 now? Are you working students like cabbages? How could you make 3 in just 1 morning? The students in the cafeteria burst into laughter. After all, the probability of Wang Sheng's words being true was too low. He was basically bragging. Xiao Qingyu, you're bullshitting. Wang Sheng was exasperated. After living in the academy, For several years, Wang Sheng had been the leader of the working students for the past 2 years. He was deeply attached to the working students, so Xiao Qinyu's insult infuriated him. Who's bullshitting? Weren't you the one who said there were 2 soul masters among the working students this morning? How come there are 3 now? A soul master in just one morning? If that's not cabbages, then what is it? Xiao Qinyu would usually find an opportunity to ridicule Wang Sheng. Now that such a good opportunity had presented itself, he was going to make a fool of them. Wang Sheng was not good with words and was at a loss for words. Xiao Wu stood up and rolled her eyes at Xiao Qinyu. Who are you? Why is your mouth so smelly? Can you get out of the cafeteria and not pollute the air? Also, what's wrong with working students having soul masters? You're just a trashy soul master with a 10-year soul ring. What right do you have to speak? Damn it, I'm going to teach you a lesson today. The 10-year soul ring had always been a thorn in Xiao Qinyu's heart. Normally, only civilian soul masters would have a 10-year soul ring as their first soul ring. As the son of the mayor of Nodding City, he had to have at least a 100-year soul ring to have a chance. Unfortunately, he had not been able to find a 100-year soul ring that suited him. In the end, he had only obtained a 10-year soul ring that suited him. Now that Xiao Wu had hit his sore spot, Xiao Qinyu was furious. Who's afraid of you? Xiao Wu retorted, not backing down at all. Let's go to the sports field now. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Fortunately, Xiao Qinyu had not lost his mind and started a fight in the cafeteria. Otherwise, the teacher would have caught him first. Even if he was the son of the mayor, he would have to bear the consequences. Let's go. If I don't beat your stinky mouth until you're looking for your teeth all over the floor, then my name isn't Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu rolled up her sleeves and walked out in an imposing manner. Wang Sheng and the others hurried to catch up with her, each of them holding their heads high. Fengge? Tang Xin glanced at Lin Feng. Let's go and have a look. They chuckled and followed. Chapter 33. It was human nature to be a bystander. Due to the battle between the two, the field was crowded with about 100 people. In the center of the crowd were Xiao Wu and Xiao Qinyu. Suddenly, Xiao Qinyu stretched out his hand. Wait, what's wrong? Are you scared? Xiao Wu was a little proud of herself. She thought to herself that this guy had some self-awareness. However, Xiao Qinyu said with a straight face, as if he had seen through Xiao Qinyu. I guessed it. You were sent by Wang Sheng, weren't you? You deliberately spread rumors that there was a soul master among the working students, and then sent a first-year girl to provoke me. If I fight with you now, even if I win, I'll be known as a bully. What a good plan, but unfortunately, I saw through it. Hearing this, the onlookers showed a look of realization. So that's how it was. Wang Sheng, the working student, was shameless. He wanted to use a girl to ruin Xiao Qinyu's reputation. Haha. Lin Feng suddenly burst into laughter. This Xiao Qinyu really hit the nail on the head. What he said made him think that he was standing on the 3rd level and had seen through the scheme of the 2nd level of the King's Sage. In fact, Wang Sheng had been standing on the 1st floor all this time. He thought he had seen through everything, but in fact, he was a fool. Ha ha! What are you laughing at? Xiao Qinyu was still proud of his intelligence. Lin Feng's laughter made him a little confused. I just remembered something happy. Lin Feng held back his laughter and said, It's okay. You can continue. You. Xiao Qinyu still wanted to say something, but Wang Sheng shouted angrily at him. Sister Xiao Wu is right. Why do you always fart? No wonder you are so smelly. Haha, I saw through you. So you're angry now? Xiao Qinyu said with a smug look. Don't talk nonsense. I won't fight with this girl, Xiao Qinyu said after thinking for a while. How about this? You send 5 people, and we will send 5 people. Only one person can fight each time. It's a round-robin system. If we lose, I will recognize you as my boss. If you lose, you will have to avoid us in the future. Do you want to bet? Xiao Wu said impatiently. Cut the crap. Why are you being so wishy-washy? Are you going to fight or not? I'm in a hurry to go eat. Right now, she just wanted to give this guy a good beating. She didn't even want to explain herself. What? Wang Sheng, you don't even dare to agree to this? Aren't you ashamed to let a little girl stand in front of you? The more anxious Xiao Wu was, the more certain he was that Wang Sheng had found this working student named Xiao Wu. I'm going to beat you into a pulp today." With that, Xiao was about to release her soul ring and beat him up. Xiao Qinyu was too long-winded, and she had run out of patience. However, at this moment, Wang Sheng said, "All right, let's bet." Wang Sheng was also a man with a temper. After being ridiculed by Xiao Qinyu, he could not bear it any longer and wanted to fight Xiao Qinyu himself. Although he might not be able to defeat Xiao Qinyu, he could not lose in terms of momentum. Besides, it didn't matter if he couldn't beat Xiao Qinyu. There were still 3 soul masters. He was not worried at all. Xiao Wu turned around and looked at Wang Sheng, slightly dissatisfied. There was a hint of expectation on Wang Sheng's face. "Sister Xiao Wu, give me a chance. This guy is pissing me off. I want to beat him into a pulp too." "No way. Xiao Qinyu is the one I want to beat. You can't beat him." Xiao Wu refused sternly. The two of them continued to argue. Xiao Qinyu couldn't stand it anymore. He said to one of his underlings, "Lu Long, you go. Beat Wang Sheng into a pulp." "Yes, boss." Lu Long was a tall boy. At this time, he stood directly in the middle of the field, looking very domineering. After being called out, Wang Sheng did not want to fight Xiao Qinyu in person. He took a step forward and stepped into the arena. "I will win." Wang Sheng cheered himself up and stared at Lu Long. "Wang Sheng, you are a loser. You are asking for trouble." Lu Long was cold. As his voice fell, a yellow light lit up in his hand. A long stick more than 2 meters long appeared in an instant. "Feng Ge, who do you think will win?" Tang San asked curiously. Lin Feng squinted at Tang San and said angrily, "They don't have soul rings. One has a stick and the other doesn't. Who do you think will lose?" "Xiao San, you do as you see fit. I'm going to eat first." There was nothing else to see. Lin Feng suddenly remembered that he had not eaten yet. Tang San was stunned. He wanted to say something, but Lin Feng had already walked to the canteen. Tang San was speechless. Before he could think of anything, Xiao Wu immediately ran over and patted him on the shoulder. "Xiao San, where did your brother go? He went to eat." Somehow, Tang San felt that Xiao Wu seemed to be afraid of Feng Ge. When Feng Ge was beside him just now, Xiao Wu didn't even dare to look at him, let alone come over. Now that Feng Ge had left, she dared to come over. It was the same in the canteen before. When Feng Ge came, she didn't speak. At that time, he didn't feel anything. Now it seemed that something happened when Feng Ge came back yesterday. "That's good. Xiao San, you beat the others later. Leave Xiao Qinyu to me." Tang San was confused. At this time in the canteen, Lin Feng went directly to the second floor, ordered 8 dishes at once, and ate happily. As he was eating, a person suddenly sat down in front of Lin Feng. "Do you know what happened in the playground?" Lin Feng looked up at the master. "Yes." After that, he pointed to the dishes in front of him and said, "Master, the dishes have just been served. Help yourself." The master smiled and didn't move. After a few seconds, he continued, "Xiao San said that you grew up in the Holy Soul Village. Why do I feel that you don't seem to be the case?" The master was a smart man. He used to think that Lin Feng was a proud child who was much more mature psychologically. Like Tang San, he had his own opinions. But now it seemed that Lin Feng was more than that. Even a master couldn't see through this child. If Tang San hadn't told him that Lin Feng grew up in the Holy Soul Village, he would have suspected that Lin Feng was from a big family. Then where else can I be from? Did I jump out of a stone? Lin Feng continued to eat, his voice a little unclear. The master chuckled and changed the topic. He asked again, "I met Xiao San in the playground just now. He said that you hunted a 100-year soul beast these days. You killed it alone in the Monty Forest?" The Monty Forest was a small forest southwest of Notting City. There were soul beasts in it, but they were extremely rare. Not to mention 100-year soul beasts, even 10-year soul beasts were rare. So basically, no one went there to get soul rings. They all went to the soul hunting forest. Chapter 34. Lin Feng already knew about the Monty Forest. Now that the Grandmaster asked, he immediately nodded. "I heard there were soul beasts there, so I ran over. I was lucky. I only wanted to kill a 10-year soul beast, but I didn't expect to see a 100-year lotus soul beast in a small lake. It didn't have much attack power, so I killed it in an instant." Hearing this, the master laughed. "Then your luck is pretty good. Not only is your first soul ring a 100-year soul ring, but you can even afford to eat the food on the second floor. Did you pick up some money on the way?" Although the question seemed to be unintentional, the master was actually trying to get information out of him. Because Tang San was his disciple, Director Su came looking for him after the master returned. She said that Lin Feng had paid for 6 years of tuition for the 3 of them, and that they were no longer working students. 6 years of tuition for the 3 of them was 9 gold coins. Where did Lin Feng, who came from the Holy Soul Village, get so much money? "Yeah, I picked it up on the ground when I left the forest. There were more than 20 gold coins inside." Lin Feng grinned. He had never planned on using money secretly, so he had already made up an excuse. Even if he earned money in the future, Lin Feng was prepared to say that he had picked it up. Whether it was a few hundred or a few thousand, he had picked it up. As for whether others believed him or not, that was their business. The master fell silent. Lin Feng's answer sounded very normal, but it also felt strange. If an adult had done this, it would have been no problem at all. It could only be attributed to good luck. But Lin Feng was a 6-year-old child, so it felt strange. But this didn't prove anything. It could only be said that Lin Feng was really lucky. Seeing the master suddenly fall silent, Lin Feng smiled. "Master, do you have any other questions?" The master shook his head and stood up. "I still have something to do, so I'll be leaving first. Won't you eat before you leave?" "It's urgent, so I won't." The master found an excuse and left. Seeing the master walk away, Lin Feng muttered, "His explanation is reasonable. I shouldn't have exposed anything. As for not believing him, so what? If he didn't believe it, then so be it. Could it be that he would eat him up? Let's eat." It was true that the food on the second floor tasted better than the food on the first floor. Moreover, there were more types of dishes than on the first floor. 5 minutes later, when Lin Feng had eaten his fill and returned to the field, the competition had just ended. A group of people shouted Sister Xiao Wu, and some people shouted Tang San's name. The students were all very excited. Tang San is too powerful. Even his blue-silver grass martial soul is so strong. He defeated 4 people by himself. Sister Xiao Wu is the real deal. Tang San is already a soul master, but he only fought 4 soul warriors. Sister Xiao Wu beat up Xiao Qinyu, who is also a soul master, in just a few moves. Listening to the excited discussions of the surrounding students, Lin Feng didn't bother with Xiao Wu and the others who were in the midst of a sea of cheers. Turning around, Lin Feng's target was the library. There was a lot of knowledge about soul masters, so much that it was beyond imagination. It was similar to the learning from primary school to university in his previous life. Soul master knowledge was also a system. It included martial souls, soul beasts, soul rings, soul bones, and so on. The academy was a place for people to learn systematically. Lin Feng was able to easily distinguish the name and age of the soul beasts in the soul hunting forest. He had spent half a day and an entire night memorizing them. He had only memorized a portion of the common soul beasts' distinguishing methods. There were also many soul beasts that he didn't know. Moreover, he didn't know anything about them, such as their weaknesses, habits, and so on. If he knew these, Lin Feng might have thought of the ghost head predatory spider when he saw the spiderweb. He would also have known the armored bear's weakness when he faced it. In short, Lin Feng still had a lot to learn. Attending classes allowed him to gain a more vivid understanding of soul master knowledge. Furthermore, the cultural classes also talked about the situation between the Heaven Do Empire and the Star Luo Empire. Lin Feng was very interested in all of this. After class, Lin Feng could choose to play in the nearby city or read books to gain more knowledge. As for the weekend, it was naturally used to earn money. He had already thought of a plan to go to the soul hunting forest to bring people back. Alright, Lin Feng still had to find time to go to the forest to obtain his 4th soul ring. As for after that, Lin Feng decided not to rush to increase his strength. Instead, he wanted to properly polish his strength and familiarize himself with the use of his soul skills. Apart from that, Lin Feng's temperament also needed to be properly nurtured. Previously, when his strength increased too quickly, it was easy for him to get carried away. This wasn't a good sign. Furthermore, as a strong person, Lin Feng needed to have a strong heart. He couldn't lose himself in the praises of handsome boy. The above was Lin Feng's general plan. Around 3 or 4 in the afternoon, Tang San and Xiao Wu ran over to the library. Feng Ge, I knew you'd be here. Tang San approached him with a smile. As for Xiao Wu, perhaps because Tang San had said something to her, she didn't stand far away. Instead, she leaned over. What's the matter? Lin Feng closed his book and raised his head. My teacher said that once we become soul masters, we can register at the Martial Soul Hall. Then, we'll receive a gold soul coin every month. This way, we can get rid of our status as working students. We won't have to sweep the floor anymore. You guys go ahead. I won't be going. Lin Feng waved his hand. He wasn't interested in going. Why? Tang San was puzzled. That was a gold soul coin. How many days would he have to sweep the floor to earn that much? How could Feng Ge not want it? Sai, since you asked so sincerely, I'll be merciful and tell you. I don't lack money. Lin Feng sighed inwardly. Sai, Xiao San, you're so honest. You always give me a chance to show off. Feng Ge, did you pick up some money? Tang San didn't get the point from Lin Feng's words. He was only curious as to why Lin Feng didn't lack money. Was it that easy to guess? Both the Grandmaster and Xiao San guessed it right away. In fact, there were too few ways to get rich in this world. The most common way was to pick up money. It wasn't hard to guess. In his previous life, there were many more ways to get rich, such as winning the lottery, being a rich second generation, and so on. Not only did I pick up some money, but I also found a weekend job. I won't lack money in the future. What kind of job? Can I go to? Xiao Wu couldn't help but interject. Xiao San was poor, but at least the Grandmaster would help him. Xiao Wu, on the other hand, was really poor. If it weren't for Wang Sheng and the others, she wouldn't even have enough money to eat. You can't do it, so don't even think about it. Go to the Martial Soul Hall and get your allowance. You won't starve to death. Lin Feng looked at Tang San. Xiao San, you can't do it now. If you want to earn more money, you should go to the blacksmith shop and become an apprentice. Chapter 35. Xiao Wu and Tang San shouldn't even think about going to the soul hunting forest. They were too weak. It wasn't that he couldn't protect them, but what was the point of going there? To be a bystander? That would be a waste of their time. It wouldn't even be considered a training exercise. But when they reached the Soul Grandmaster level, he could take them to the soul hunting forest to train with soul beasts and increase their combat experience. Then, Feng Ge will go register at the Martial Spear Hall first. Tang San wasn't disappointed. After informing Lin Feng, he left with Xiao Wu. After dinner, Lin Feng continued to bring his books back to the dormitory. Although he was no longer a working student, Lin Feng didn't plan to change dormitories. He could still stay here. While reading, he could also listen to Wang Sheng and the others bragging about today's battle. It was quite interesting. Lin Feng was reading books about meditation techniques. Soul masters on Douluo's continent relied on meditation techniques to cultivate. There was a lot of knowledge in meditation techniques. A good meditation technique could double the result with half the effort. It was very helpful to soul masters and could increase their strength a lot faster. Lin Feng wasn't actually interested in meditation techniques. He didn't need them to increase his strength. However, there were still some benefits to learning it. This was because the meditation technique could strengthen Lin Feng's control over soul power, and it was also effective for soul skills. Not long after, Tang San and Xiao Wu returned. As soon as the two entered, they ran directly to Lin Feng. The first thing they said was, Feng Ge, let's compare notes. In the last few days of training in the Holy Soul Village, Tang San had been beaten by Lin Feng. He was a little unconvinced. Now that he had obtained a soul ring, his physical strength, mysterious heaven method, purple demon eyes, mysterious jade hands, and so on had all improved greatly. His strength had more than doubled. Tang San felt that he could definitely defeat Lin Feng and wash away his shame. At the side, Xiao Wu whispered, I sparred with Xiao San this afternoon, and we were evenly matched. I haven't sparred with you yet, so I want to spar with you too. Hearing this, Lin Feng was stunned. Then, he put down the book and smiled. Okay, two children who have never experienced the cruel beating of society. Tonight, you, Fengge, will let the two of you understand what cruelty is. Looking at Lin Feng's smile, Tang San felt inexplicably flustered. However, he quickly tossed these thoughts to the back of his mind. He had a win today. It was already dark outside, and most of the students were meditating in their own dormitories. There was almost no one on the field. However, the three of them did not choose to spar on the field. Instead, they chose a more secluded, small forest to prevent others from seeing them. Fengge, you have to be careful. I won't hold back. Tang San struck a fighting pose. At the side, Xiao Wu also shouted, Xiao San, you can do it. Don't worry, just go all out. Nothing will happen. Lin Feng smiled and also struck a fighting pose. Lin Feng had long thought that Tang San would challenge him. After all, he was beaten by him in the Holy Soul Village. It would be strange if he was convinced. Now, Lin Feng did not want to instantly defeat Tang San. He decided to be steady and give Tang San some hope. He would fight for a while before finally defeating him. This way, he could gain some combat experience and his mentality would not collapse. Otherwise, if he was instantly defeated, it would be a huge blow to Tang San. First soul skill bind. Lin Feng was very strong. Tang San used his full strength right from the start. The blue-silver grass was like a long, twisting snake as it swept towards Lin Feng. The latter easily dodged, which made Tang San's heart jump. What a fast reaction speed. In the next second, Lin Feng had already rushed forward and engaged in close combat with Tang San. Just like before, the two of them met each other's fists and continuously countered each other's moves. Xiao Wu was dazzled by their moves. Half a minute passed, and the two of them had already exchanged dozens of moves. Huh! With a low shout, Tang San's jade-like palm suddenly shot out. Lin Feng also stretched out his hand, and his palm met hers. As their soul power surged, the two of them each took a few steps back and separated. On this side, Tang San supported himself with one hand as he panted. Although the fight was short, he had used his full strength just now. Every attack contained a huge amount of soul power. After half a minute, he was about to collapse. On the other side, Lin Feng was also panting as if he had lost all his strength. At first glance, it seemed that Lin Feng and Tang San were evenly matched. In fact, Tang San knew that Lin Feng was stronger than him. Not only did he use his soul skill, he also used his soul power. It could be said that he had used his full strength. On the other hand, Lin Feng did not use anything. He did not even use his martial soul. He only used his physical strength to resist all of Tang San's attacks. Fengge, you're really strong. I lost again. How did you lose? Wasn't it a draw? Xiao Wu did not understand at all. Lin Feng smiled and said, yes, it was a draw. That's right. Xiao Wu continued, quickly rest. We still have to fight after you rest. Okay, right away. Lin Feng did not even summon his martial soul. Instead, he pretended to sit down and rest. Seeing this, Tang San smiled and shook his head. He did not say anything and meditated to recover. Xiao San, watch carefully. I'm going to help you beat your brother into a pig's head. Xiao Wu was full of vigor. After only 30 seconds, Lin Feng stood up. I'm done resting. You can come. So fast. Don't cry when I beat you later. Xiao Wu was a little surprised. No matter how she looked at it, the two of them looked exhausted. How did Lin Feng recover so quickly? Did he let her win on purpose? Haha, just don't cry later. With a smile, Lin Feng struck a fighting pose. Then I'll make my move. As soon as she finished speaking, Xiao Wu directly possessed her martial soul. With a flash of red light, Xiao Wu with rabbit ears appeared. The rabbit martial soul was extremely fast. After the martial soul possessed her body, Xiao Wu also became abnormally agile. However, that was relative to soul masters of the same level. In Lin Feng's eyes, she was like a turtle that could react easily. Xiao Wu's original body was a soft-boned rabbit. She was very good at jujitsu, which was a technique that used the strength of the whole body. Every part of her body could be used as a weapon. Previously, when she fought with Tang San, she always liked to use her legs to lock his head. Now that she was facing Lin Feng, Xiao Wu naturally used her best skills. Watch my headlock technique. After getting close to Lin Feng, Xiao Wu suddenly jumped up. Her legs were like a spiral and went straight for Lin Feng's neck. At that moment, Lin Feng stood there motionlessly, as if he had been scared stiff. Haha, your reaction is so slow. Today, I'll make you fall flat on your face. Xiao Wu was overjoyed. She wanted to laugh at him later. However, in the next second, she suddenly spun in the air and fell to the ground. Xiao Wu, who fell to the ground, was stunned. She had no idea what just happened. Chapter 36. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. As the person involved, Xiao Wu wasn't clear about the situation, but Tang San saw it very clearly. The moment Xiao Wu's feet were about to reach Lin Feng gently pushed her left ankle with one hand and then pulled it slightly. In just 2 moves, Xiao Wu was like a rootless duckweed, spinning in the air and falling to the ground. Underestimating the enemy. Xiao Wu underestimated the enemy too much. She thought that Feng Ge was the same as an ordinary soul master and could be easily caught by her. Perhaps if Xiao Wu calmed down and used her speed to deal with Lin Feng, she might be able to exchange a few moves, but if she underestimated the enemy, she would be defeated in an instant. That doesn't count. Again, Xiao Wu quickly got up with a look of dissatisfaction. Hearing that, Lin Feng didn't say much. He just hooked his finger at Xiao Wu, as if saying, "Come here, Xiao San, watch carefully. This time I will definitely beat him into a pig's head." After saying that, Xiao Wu directly rushed up and attacked Lin Feng's side. This time, Lin Feng didn't end the battle quickly like before. Instead, he defended unhurriedly, and then from time to time, he would launch an attack that Xiao Wu could react to. In this regard, Xiao Wu, as the person involved, didn't realize anything. In her opinion, Lin Feng was only a little stronger than her, as if she could break through Lin Feng's defense if she put in a little more effort. Tang San, on the other hand, was shocked. Just now, he also thought that Feng Ge was only a little stronger than him. But now that he looked at it carefully and used the purple demon eyes to observe Feng Ge's details, in the end, he discovered that in the face of Xiao Wu's attacks, Feng Ge did not have the slightest flaw. Everything was so skillful. Even his every attack seemed to have been calculated beforehand. He would be able to break through Xiao Wu's defense without forcing her back. What is this? This was completely a feeding move. And to be able to do this, it could only mean one thing. Lin Feng was stronger than them. Moreover, it was not just a little stronger. By the time this was discovered, the fight between Lin Feng and Xiao Wu had already ended. That's right, just like the previous match, Lin Feng won the match with a slight advantage. I'm so angry. Just a little bit more, and I would have been able to defeat you. Xiao Wu stomped her feet, her little face full of defiance. Hearing this, Lin Feng smiled and said, Yes, as long as you work a little harder, you will definitely be able to defeat me. I'll wait. Feng Ge, I will work hard too. I will definitely surpass you. Tang San also smiled. He knew that Lin Feng was very strong, but Tang San was also a person who refused to admit defeat. Now, he had the same thought as Xiao Wu. He must defeat Lin Feng. Good. I'll wait for the two of you to defeat me. Then, as if he had thought of something, he said, Well, I've already paid for your tuition. For the next 6 years, you are no longer working students. You are free to do whatever you want in the afternoon. If you want to catch up to me, Xiao San, you have to work hard. Don't stop practicing the bald head training method. Strive to become bald as soon as possible. Strive to become stronger as soon as possible. Do you hear me? Yes, I will. Tang San was moved again. He was not moved by the tuition, but by Lin Feng's concern for him. It felt good to be cared for. On the other hand, Xiao Wu, who was standing at the side, was shocked. You're paying for 6 years' worth of tuition? This afternoon, she and Tang San went to the Martial Spirit Hall to register. Then, they each received a gold soul coin. They originally planned to pay for a year's worth of tuition the next day, but they didn't expect happiness to come so suddenly. Soon, Xiao Wu continued to ask, Why did you pay for me? Didn't I not sweep the floor before? I'm compensating you. What? You don't want it? If you don't want it, I can go to Director Su and ask for the money back. You dare. Xiao Wu clenched her fists and waved them in front of Lin Feng. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows. Oh, isn't this the person who lost to me just now? What? You don't want to admit it? Of course not. Xiao Wu quickly withdrew her fists. I almost defeated you today. Just you wait. Wait until I figure out your tricks. I'll definitely defeat you tomorrow. Xiao Wu wasn't stupid. She knew that she couldn't beat Lin Feng now, but in the fight just now, she seemed to have understood a little bit of Lin Feng's techniques. She decided to give him some advice tonight and challenge him tomorrow. So, you don't have anything to say about me paying for your tuition? Lin Feng said with interest. Say something? What do you mean? Xiao Wu panicked. Lin Feng was only 6 years old. How could he have such thoughts? Of course it's to say thank you. I helped you. Isn't it basic etiquette to say thank you? Xiao Wu blushed and whispered, thank you. Lin Feng dug his ears. Why can't I hear you? Thank you. Xiao Wu's voice was a little louder. Who are you thanking? Lin Feng deliberately led her on. Hearing this, Xiao Wu hesitated for a moment, then said, thank you. Feng Ge. That's right, haha. After laughing twice, Lin Feng turned to Tang San and said, Xiao San, soul power cultivation is important. You should put first. This is a very correct idea. However, physical training must not be neglected. Did you find a job this afternoon? I found one. I work at the blacksmith shop. I just have to go there every afternoon. Tang San said, if that's the case, then you can forge in the afternoon. This is a kind of exercise, but it's not comprehensive. In addition to soul power cultivation at night, you have to go through a complete bald head training method. And I will. Tang San nodded. Not bad. You have awareness. Today is the first day. You can start. Lin Feng pointed to the field and said, okay. Without any excuses, Tang San got up and walked towards the field. Feng Ge, what is the bald head training method? Xiao Wu asked curiously. You want to know? And Xiao Wu nodded repeatedly, looking like a cute little rabbit. Go. Find Tang San. Whatever he does, you just do half of it. After a week, you do whatever he does at night. After saying that, without waiting for Xiao Wu's answer, Lin Feng turned and left. The path had been chosen for them. Whether they chose it or not was their own business. After Lin Feng left, Xiao Wu stuck out her tongue in the direction he left, then turned and ran towards Tang San. Xiao San, what is the bald head training method? It's 100, and then you just have to run 10 kilometers. So many. How can we finish running then? Also, will we become bald at the end of this training method? If so, I won't do it even if I die. Don't worry, it won't. Feng Ge is actually very strong. He wants us to do this for our own good. For our own good? I don't believe it. Before she could finish, Tang San asked, are you still training with me? Yes, of course. I don't want to be surpassed by you. Only a fool wouldn't follow. Chapter 37. Soon it was Friday. During this week, the school life gradually got on track. Lin Feng attended classes, studied by himself, meditated, and so on. He arranged everything clearly and lived a very fulfilling life. Tang San's life was even more fulfilling. Attending classes, working, exercising, and being abused by Lin Feng. That's right. Originally, Lin Feng's idea was to slowly teach Tang San and let him gain some experience by constantly feeding him moves. But the day before yesterday, this guy directly went to Lin Feng and said, let the storm come more violently. Ahem, of course, that was not the original words. Anyway, what he meant was that Tang San felt that Lin Feng was too gentle and had no effect on him. So from that day onwards, Lin Feng beat Tang San up from time to time. Because of the immeasurable flowers treatment, there were no problems except that Tang San suffered a little. As for Xiao Wu, her life was not as fulfilling as Tang San's. She still attended classes in the morning, but no one knew where she went in the afternoon. Now that she was the big sister of the entire Nodding Academy, Xiao Wu had a lot of connections. At night, unexpectedly, she had been training with Tang San and did not slack off at all. Even on the third day, her training volume became exactly the same as Tang San's. Regarding this result, Lin Feng felt that he had either underestimated a soul master's physical fitness or underestimated Xiao Wu's perseverance. That night, Lin Feng arrived at the small forest at the right time. As soon as he arrived, Xiao Wu shouted while panting, "Fengge, you're here. Quick, treat me. I just finished training. I'm exhausted." Some things would happen countless times after the first time. It was the same for women's clothing and Xiao Wu calling Fengge. It had only been a few days, but now Xiao Wu called Fengge very smoothly. Without saying a word, Lin Feng waved his hand, and two rays of light directly entered Xiao Wu and Tang San's bodies. In a few breaths' time, the two of them recovered from their weariness and became spirited. "Fengge, your martial spirit is too powerful. Every time I experience it, I can't help but be amazed." Instead of replying, Lin Feng continued, "Today, the two of you should come at me together. I want to see what you have learned in the past week." Hearing this, Tang San and Xiao Wu immediately looked at each other and saw joy in each other's eyes. The two of them had previously planned to find an opportunity to sneak attack Lin Feng together and beat him into a pig head to vent their anger. He didn't expect the opportunity to come so quickly, and it was delivered to him by Fengge himself. Since that's the case, then I won't be polite. Xiao Wu immediately possessed her martial spirit and was ready. Tang San was even more direct. He didn't even say a word and summoned his blue silver grass to wrap around Lin Feng. In this regard, the corners of Lin Feng's mouth curled up slightly. "Good, you want to hit me so much. Today, the two of you will become pig heads." Dong dong, clang, dang dang, ah, duong. For a moment, the sound of rot tan tearing, the sound of air breaking, the young girl's cries of surprise, the low shout, hundreds of thousands of sounds at the same time, mixed with the young girl's begging for mercy, the young boy's muffled groans, everything was there. As a result, the flowers and trees all swayed, the leaves rustled, and the roots trembled, wanting to leave first. Suddenly, he coughed, and the sound stopped. Looking at it, it was just one person, one flower, and two pig heads. The entire battle only lasted for a minute and a half. Tang San and Xiao Wu experimented with 4 different attacking methods, all of which were neutralized by Lin Feng one by one. In the end, the two of them were even beaten into pig heads. At this moment, they completely understood how tyrannical Feng Ji's strength was. So, this was the correct way to be an auxiliary-type soul master? But didn't Master say that auxiliary-type soul masters needed a team to protect them? Why didn't it apply to Fengge? "Fengge, I feel like I'll never be able to defeat you." Xiao Wu's confidence was somewhat damaged. Hearing this, Lin Feng healed their injuries and said with a smile, "Be more confident. Remove the word feel." Xiao Wu instantly didn't want to speak. At this moment, Lin Feng continued, "Tomorrow is the weekend. You guys properly plan your time for the next 2 days. I'm going out for a while, and I'll be back on Sunday night." Tang San didn't ask anything, and only said seriously, "Fengge, you have to pay attention to your safety." Hee. Lin Feng patted Tang San's shoulder. "When you can defeat me, then you can worry about me. For now, you should properly train." At this moment, Xiao Wu asked, "Fengge, last time you said that we can't go with you now. Then when can we go together?" "Soul Grandmaster. When the two of you become Soul Grandmasters, I'll bring you along. Remember what you said? Let's pinky swear." Xiao Wu directly stretched out her small hand. "Okay, pinky swear." After making a pinky swear, Lin Feng chatted for a while and then took advantage of the night to leave the academy. Lin Feng didn't choose to rush through the night. In his house in Notting City, he took a bath, and after preparing some things, he had a good sleep. Early the next morning, he left for the soul hunting forest. At noon, after arriving at the small town at the entrance of the soul hunting forest, Lin Feng didn't immediately shout. He first walked around the small town and understood the price of bringing people along. After finishing his preparations, he came to the entrance with the largest flow of people. Then, he stood on top of a large wooden barrel and shouted loudly. Efficiency of bringing people to hunt soul beasts. 10-year soul beasts for 5 gold coins, 100-year soul beast for 20 gold coins. Bring someone with a token for free, only for the first person. Bring in 5 more bosses. In fact, Lin Feng also wanted to launch a designated soul beast hunting and 1,000-year soul beast business. But that kind of business was too time-consuming. Lin Feng didn't have enough time, so he could only make it rough. As soon as he finished speaking, the word free immediately attracted the attention of the surrounding people, including some other soul masters who were bringing people to earn money. After becoming stronger, Lin Feng's control of his body had also become stronger. Although he couldn't control it in detail, he could still change his vocal cords. At this moment, his voice sounded like that of a 15 or 16-year-old youth. Me. I have a token. I want to obtain a 100-year soul ring. Are you really going to bring me for free? I also have a token. I want to obtain a second soul ring. I want a 100-year soul ring. A 300-year soul ring and above is even better. Can I bring you for free? If it was a token, people would usually only pay 10 gold coins. At this moment, if Lin Feng brought people for free, it would be equivalent to earning 10 gold coins. Therefore, people with tokens were very enthusiastic. But soon after, a voice sounded, and everyone hesitated. You little kid, you're at most 15 or 16 years old. Don't tell me you're going to bring them to hunt soul beasts alone. Where's your team? Hearing this, everyone understood. Yes, Lin Feng was standing here alone. Where was his team? Don't tell me he's going to bring them for a brat like him. From his voice, he was at most 15 or 16 years old. Even if he was a genius, a soul grandmaster wouldn't be able to bring so many people. Moreover, this guy was wearing a mask. Maybe he was a ghost. Chapter 38. It's just me. I don't have any teammates, so I'm bringing 6 people into the forest to hunt soul beasts. Is there a problem? Lin Feng didn't try to defend himself, and openly admitted it. His words immediately caused an uproar in the crowd as they discussed spiritedly. You stinking brat. Aren't you playing with people? How strong can you be? So what if you're a soul grandmaster? Even a soul elder can't guarantee that you can bring 6 people with you. What makes you think you can? That's right, a stinking brat. He's probably spoiled at home and thinks that he's very strong. He even dares to bring 6 people with him. Other teams led by soul elders usually only dare to bring 3 bosses. He really doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. He's wasting everyone's time. The surrounding people all felt that Lin Feng was making trouble without reason, and they were all madly denouncing him. Actually, they weren't wrong to think that way. Lin Feng could understand them. After all, in Douluo's world, no one could do this except for Lin Feng. Understanding was one thing, but the uncle who jumped the fiercest, could you not be so indignant? I know you. Lin Feng had asked this uncle when he was walking around the town and asking about the price of bringing people. He was a soul elder who also brought people here. Uncle, your current actions are already deliberately discrediting your peers. This is called malicious competition. Thinking about this, Lin Feng pointed at the uncle. Hey, that uncle who shouted the fiercest. Yes, it's you. I want to challenge you. The scene immediately quieted down, and the eyes of the spectators immediately turned to the uncle. It's Lin Yuan. His team also specializes in bringing people to hunt soul beasts. He's the captain, and he's a rank 34 soul elder. He also has 3 rank 29 soul grandmasters. When I was rank 10, I looked for him to hunt soul rings in the forest. At that time, he helped me kill a 160-year-old soul beast. Their team is very strong. Not only one person knew this Lin Yuan, and the crowd quickly began to discuss him. Kid, are you sure you want to challenge me? Lin Yuan asked in a deep voice. Towards people like Lin Feng, Lin Yuan was quite disgusted, so he had been lecturing him from afar. If it wasn't for Lin Feng's young age, he would have directly beaten him up. But now, Lin Feng actually took the initiative to challenge him. Under such circumstances, even if he injured Lin Feng, the people around him would not say that he was bullying the weak. They would even be very happy. After all, Lin Yuan had beaten up Lin Feng, a brat who did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. Everyone felt relieved. Cut the crap. Let's do it here. Within 3 moves, I'll beat you into a pulp. Hearing this, everyone spread out, giving the two of them a space of 10 meters in radius. One arrogant brat. Since you're looking for a beating, I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of your parents. Lin Yuan walked to the middle. Everyone heard it. This brat wanted to challenge me. Today, I'm only teaching him a lesson on behalf of his parents. Don't say that I'm bullying the weak. How can this be called bullying the weak? This is called teaching a brat who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. This is a good thing. That's right, that's right. This brat needs to be taught a lesson. Hearing this, Lin Feng only recorded these people in his little notebook. Then, without wasting any more words, he directly jumped down from the large wooden barrel and stood in front of Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan, martial soul, brown bear, rank 34 soul elder. Please give me your guidance. Needless to say, the soul masters of Douluo continent paid quite a lot of attention to battle rituals. It was clearly a careless battle, but because there were spectators, Lin Yuan still treated it seriously. However, in Lin Feng's opinion, this method of self-introduction was too stupid. Even reporting his martial soul and rank revealed too much information. Therefore, at this moment, Lin Feng only indifferently said, "You're too weak. You don't deserve to know my name. I'll defeat you in 3 moves." These words were truly too arrogant. Not only did it infuriate Lin Yuan, who was in the middle of the field, to the point that he directly attacked with his martial soul, the surrounding audience also shouted for him to be more ruthless. Second soul skill, vigorous bear hug. Lin Feng's expression didn't change at all. He thought to himself, a group of mortals. You know nothing about strength. Facing the rapidly charging Lin Yuan, Lin Feng grabbed the air with both hands and fiercely pulled it forward. Seeing this scene, everyone thought that Lin Feng had gone crazy. Grabbing the air to attack a soul elder, what kind of trick was this? Even Lin Yuan felt that Lin Feng's brain might be sick. Subconsciously, his hand movements slowed down a lot. He was thinking, is it a bit inhumane to be so heavy-handed with this foolish child? Maybe I should just casually teach him a lesson and be done with it. But just as this thought appeared in his mind, a white staff about 2 meters long appeared in Lin Feng's hand. Then, with a speed that Lin Yuan couldn't even react to, it smashed into his stomach. In the next second, Lin Yuan flew back at an even faster speed than he had rushed over, directly crashing into the group of people who had been shouting the most fiercely. Like a bowling ball, the group of people all fell down. This scene left everyone dumbstruck. Aside from the group of people's wails, the field unexpectedly fell into a strange silence. After a long time, someone finally sucked in a breath of cold air. This child is actually so terrifying. At this moment, Lin Feng suddenly jumped onto a large wooden barrel and loudly said, "Bring people to hunt soul beasts efficiently. 10-year soul beasts for 5 gold coins. 100-year soul beasts for 20 gold coins. Give me a token for free. Only the first person. Give me 5 more bosses." The atmosphere in the field immediately exploded. Previously, they were all suspicious of Lin Feng's strength, so they were all observing. Most of them were even ridiculing him. But now, Lin Feng was actually able to send a rank 34 soul elder flying with a single strike of his staff, and he didn't even use a soul skill. With this kind of strength, he was at least a rank 37 soul elder. This was already enough for him to lead a team alone. And most importantly, Lin Feng looked to be about 15 or 16 years old. Such a young and powerful soul elder. His talent was at the level of a monster. He definitely came from a large family or a large sect. If they could be on good terms with him, the benefits would be immeasurable. So at this moment, the atmosphere in the field directly exploded. The surrounding people who needed soul rings all rushed to Lin Feng, asking him to bring them to the soul hunting forest. As for Lin Yuan, just now, other than his own team members, no one gave them a second glance. Everything was so real, and strength was everything. Lin Feng pretended to choose, but in reality, he was eliminating those who had ridiculed him before. After spending a minute like this, Lin Feng finally chose people who wanted to hunt 100-year soul beasts. After all, this way, Lin Feng could earn a bit more. "Honorable sir, how should we address you?" At this moment, someone asked. This was also the question that everyone was concerned about. They were all very curious about this masked man. Hee hee, you can call me Thanos. Chapter 39. Of the 6 bosses, 2 were support-type soul masters, 1 was healing type, 1 was defense type, and the remaining 2 were agility type. Other than the token that was free, Lin Feng had earned a net profit of 100 gold coins. Previously, because there were so many people, they all rushed forward when paying and didn't mention their requirements. Anyway, they shouted for 100-year soul rings. After entering the soul-hunting forest, the 6 of them started to talk about their requirements. 3 of them were rank 10 and came to obtain their first soul ring. They didn't have any requirements, as long as it could be absorbed by a 100-year soul ring. The remaining 3 were all rank 20. One of them didn't have any requirements either. His first soul ring was only a 10-year one, and the second soul ring was suitable for him, a 100-year one. The remaining 2 wanted to take advantage of the situation and asked if they could find one that was more than 300 years old. Actually, they wanted to ask for a 500-year soul ring, but that would be too unsightly. Outside, a 500-year soul ring was priced at 100 gold coins. Even if it was more than 300 years old, it would still cost 60 gold coins. Lin Feng didn't think much about their thoughts. He just said that they would have to pay more for the customization, and they obediently shut up. 100-year soul beasts were still very easy to find. Lin Feng entered the forest at about 2 in the afternoon. By 5 in the afternoon, 4 of the 6 bosses had obtained soul rings. The main thing was that protecting people was very time-consuming. It was too troublesome to protect them on the way and when they absorbed the soul rings. Otherwise, with Lin Feng's strength, he would have gotten off work long ago. At this moment, he even had the impulse to call Xiao San over to protect people, because that would greatly increase his efficiency. However, it was just a thought. Xiao San and Xiao Wu were too weak, so he had to wait. After 6 in the afternoon, the sky started to darken. In fact, before this, those who had obtained soul rings had mentioned returning to town. However, Lin Feng didn't agree and said that they would continue to search and go back when they found one. They had no choice but to continue following, but in their hearts, they kept bad-mouthing Lin Feng. After all, some of them had come with the intention of getting close to Lin Feng. However, throughout the entire process, Lin Feng barely spoke. They didn't even respond to what they said. It was very boring. You're in luck. Boss number 6, you have a soul ring. Of the 6 people, Lin Feng didn't ask for their names, mainly because he was too lazy to recognize them, so he directly gave each of them a number. This number 6 was the rank 20 soul master who didn't have any requirements. His first soul ring was only a 10-year one. But now, Lin Feng had found a 300-year-old soul beast that was very suitable for him. Lin Feng knocked the soul beast unconscious and threw it in front of number 6. The latter killed it gratefully. Cough, cough. Although the scene was strange, its companions were envious. This was especially true for the 2 who had been scheming earlier. The soul beasts they had encountered were only over 100 years old. Now that they had already absorbed them, they could only be envious. After number 6 absorbed it, Lin Feng continued to wander at night. Soon, at around 7 in the evening, Lin Feng solved the problem of number 2's soul ring. During this period, Lin Feng didn't reveal a single soul ring. Every time, he used his 1,000 trickster ruler to transform into a long rod. At this moment, in the eyes of the 6 people, Lin Feng's name was Thanos, and he was a powerful soul master whose martial soul was a long rod. Other than that, there was no other news. Let's go. I'll send you back to town. Under everyone's grateful gazes, Lin Feng brought them back to town. Going back at this time was actually far better than going back in the morning tomorrow. Because there were many people in White Sky Town, and Lin Feng and the others were the focus, everyone had a soul ring as soon as they came out, and it only took a day. Wouldn't the publicity effect directly explode? However, at night, although there were fewer people, the effect wasn't much different. The main thing was that the time spent was too short. After half a day, all 6 of them obtained soul rings. This efficiency might be considered outstanding for a team, but it was unprecedented for a single person. After these 6 bosses came out, they would talk about this matter in the town's bars and hotels, and the bartenders and hotel attendants would also spread the news. By tomorrow, this matter would still cause a sensation. However, at this moment, Lin Feng didn't have the time to act cool. After he came out, he took a detour and went into the soul-hunting forest again, and then he looked for Xiao Ying's traces. Before leaving, Lin Feng specifically told Xiao Ying to live in the central area, and Lin Feng knew the approximate location of that place. After coming in at night, Lin Feng searched for half an hour and found Xiao Ying. At first, it thought it was an enemy and was very vigilant against Lin Feng, who quietly approached it and even entered stealth mode. After seeing Lin Feng clearly, it ran over intimately and rubbed against Lin Feng. "I told you I'd be back, right? Let's go. Let's go play in the depths tonight." Lin Feng actually had 4 goals in coming to the soul-hunting forest. First, to earn money. Second, to play with Xiao Ying. Third, to gain experience, which was what he wanted to do, to find the older soul beasts in the depths of the soul-hunting forest to fight and gain experience. Fourth, actually wasn't really a goal. It was just to try his luck and see if he could find a suitable 10,000-year soul beast in the depths of the forest. Although the probability was very low, what if? What if there was? He wouldn't have to go into the forest. Even if he found a 10,000-year soul beast that wasn't suitable for him, Lin Feng could still use it to fight and gain experience. Once it heard that it could play in the depths of the forest, Xiao Ying cheered and carried Lin Feng straight into the depths of the forest. In the depths of the forest, the concentration of soul power was much higher than other places. If Lin Feng wasn't there, Xiao Ying didn't know how many years it would take to reach there. Now that it had Lin Feng, it could run freely in the depths of the forest without any fear. It would be strange if it wasn't happy. It was late at night, and most of the soul beasts were asleep. The predators that weren't asleep at night were also the kind that were old and shady. Lin Feng looked for nearly half an hour on Xiao Ying's back before finding the first soul beast. It was a 3,000-year-old python. After fighting with it, Lin Feng gained more than 20,000 experience, which wasn't bad. In the following time, until midnight, Lin Feng kept looking for soul beasts to fight. Including this python, Lin Feng finally found a total of 4 soul beasts. Among them, the oldest one was more than 6,000 years old, and the lowest one was more than 2,000 years old. Fighting with them gave him a total of 130,000 experience. Although he didn't find any 10,000-year soul beasts, the experience gained from circling the forest was still not bad. At this time, Lin Feng's experience had already reached 270,000. Satisfied, he returned to Xiao Ying's territory. Just like last time, Lin Feng laid in Xiao Ying's arms and fell asleep happily. P.S. Thank you for your recommendation. Chapter 40. On the morning of the second day, Lin Feng took advantage of the time when the soul beasts woke up early to hunt and walked around the forest for another 3 hours. This time, he wasn't as lucky as yesterday. Lin Feng didn't encounter any soul beasts above 5,000 years old, and the oldest was only around 4,000 years old. However, there were a total of 5 soul beasts, and after fighting for a while, he gained tens of thousands of experience points. Furthermore, Lin Feng discovered that the last time he was here, he could gain 10 to 20,000 experience points from fighting a 1,000-year-old soul beast. Now, he only had a few thousand experience points, and the decrease was too serious. In this way, Lin Feng had to find soul beasts above 5,000 years old to fight in order to quickly gain experience points. After fighting so many 5,000-year-old soul beasts, he had to find 10,000-year-old soul beasts, and this couldn't go on. It seemed that he had to think of another way, such as super heavyweight training. In the past few days, Lin Feng actually had the same idea, but after he strolled around Noden City, he gave up on the idea. There was no other reason other than that he couldn't find the right materials. There were a total of 3 blacksmith shops in the city, and the density of the iron inside was too low and too light. Unless Lin Feng tied a big iron lump to his body, there would be no effect at all. If he wanted to forge the heavy equipment that Lin Feng imagined, even fine iron wouldn't work, and at the very least, black iron would be needed. As for black iron, the people in the blacksmith shops couldn't forge it. So Lin Feng had to think of a way to forge a set of black, iron-heavy clothes himself. As for looking for Xiao San, please, that guy was only a rank 13 soul master, and it would take him a few days to forge a small piece of black iron. If he were to forge it now, he would have to wait for God knows how long, so he might as well forge it himself. As for him not knowing how to forge it, he didn't know how to self-study. Black iron was just a type of iron that was stronger than fine iron, and it required a special method and technique to forge it. Some people could only forge a piece of fine iron, but it would always remain fine iron, while some people would forge black iron after a while. And with Lin Feng's current strength, so what if he failed? He just had to be reckless a few more times, and he would eventually find a way. Moreover, the wild hammering technique that Tang San had learned from his father was actually a special technique to exert force. Although it was only used for smithing, it was actually a special technique. But unconsciously, Tang San had already integrated it into the battle. Lin Feng, on the other hand, had not only stolen his ghost shadow perplexing track and controlling crane capturing dragon, but he had also learned the technique of exerting force. Of course, the so-called secretly learning here did not mean that he had completely learned the entire book. Instead, it was based on some moves and techniques, and then merged them with Lin Feng's ideas to produce the final product. With this confidence, Lin Feng felt that the profound iron wouldn't be a problem for him. At about 10 o'clock in the morning, Lin Feng said goodbye to Xiao Ying and returned to the town. Not long after he appeared, people began to crowd around him. "Mr. Destroy, are you still bringing people to hunt soul beasts today? Please bring me along." "Mr. Destroy, I'm rank 30. Please bring me along too. I'm willing to pay 500 gold coins for a strength-type soul ring that's over 1,000 years old. Can I bring you along?" There were many people talking, and Lin Feng was slightly surprised. Generally, the best time to hunt soul beasts was in the afternoon. In the morning, very few people entered the forest to hunt soul beasts. Most of them were drinking morning tea in the town's tea houses. And because of this, Lin Feng's incident last night had spread throughout the town in just 2 hours. At this moment, as soon as Lin Feng appeared, people surrounded him. There were even rank 30 soul masters who wanted to bring along. One had to know that in a place like the soul-hunting forest, no team dared to take on the task of hunting 1,000-year soul beasts. This was because the place they were going to was too dangerous. If they were unlucky, they would face 2,000-year soul beasts at the same time. Even a team with 3 soul elders would not accept it. It was really too difficult. Probably only a team in the Great Forest would accept it. Anyway, no one in the soul-hunting forest would accept it. If Lin Feng could accept it, he could almost monopolize this business. Soul ancestors snatching business? No way. No soul ancestors would come to the soul-hunting forest. Soul ancestors who came here to obtain soul rings were fools. This was because there were too few soul rings suitable for soul ancestors. If they wanted to find one, time and luck were indispensable. If they were lucky, they could find one in 5 to 6 days. If they were unlucky, there would be no soul beast suitable for them, and they would have waited for half a month in vain. If they went to the Great Forest, they could find one in 2 to 3 days. Soul masters were not fools. How could they not know where to go? As for bringing people to earn money, there were too many ways for soul ancestors to earn money. Whether it was serving the empire or joining a family, the profits were much better than bringing people here. Therefore, as long as Lin Feng said he could accept a 1,000-year soul beast order, it would be a unique business. "Yes, I'll accept a 1,000-year soul beast order. It'll be the same as last time. If you have a warrant, I'll bring 5 more for free." Lin Feng didn't accept a 1,000-year soul beast order before because he was afraid he wouldn't be able to find one and would waste time. The reason why he accepted it now was because he knew the location of a strength-type 1,000-year soul beast. Because of this, Lin Feng accepted it. Of course, a 1,000-year soul beast order wasn't that easy to come by. The fact that he was able to meet one today, and it just so happened to be suitable, could only mean that Lin Feng's luck was pretty good. Just like this, under the enthusiasm of the crowd, Lin Feng led the team out again after only 10 minutes in town. Of the 6 people this time, other than the free one, the other 5 had their own requirements. One was a 1,000-year soul beast, 2 were 500-year soul beasts, and the remaining 2 were 300-year soul beasts. The net profit from this trip was 820 gold coins. Why didn't these people look for him yesterday? Either they didn't know him, or they just wanted to observe him. But today they all came knocking on his door. This was the benefit of fame. Of course, 820 gold coins wasn't that easy to earn. Lin Feng spent an entire day taking care of these people like a nanny, and finally completed the task at 5 in the afternoon. When the group returned to town, the whole town was in an uproar, because that 1,000-year soul ring was actually successfully obtained. One had to know that even if Lin Feng accepted this task, the crowd didn't think that he would be able to complete it in a day. There was even a risk that he wouldn't be able to complete it. But today, not only did he succeed, he only spent a day. Thanos! 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 At the entrance, everyone was shouting Lin Feng's name like a hero. Regarding such a miraculous thing, the crowd really didn't know what to say other than shouting his name to express their shock. Regarding this, Lin Feng didn't have any special expression. Under the gaze of everyone, he silently stood on the big wooden barrel from before. "I'll be back next weekend. Goodbye." After saying that, Lin Feng quickly left. After that, the town was full of discussions about Lin Feng, and all kinds of stories were spread. Among them, the most tragic was the story of Lin Yuan's arrogant challenge. At that time, everyone clearly thought that Lin Feng was arrogant enough to challenge Lin Yuan, but now, everything was reversed. Regarding this, Lin Yuan could no longer hear it, because on Saturday night he and his team had already left. Chapter 41. After returning to Nodding City, Lin Feng's life was back on track again. Other than living a little extravagantly and buying a lot of iron from the blacksmith to practice, there weren't many changes. Lin Feng knew that whether it was on TV or in novels, the so-called cultivation first had to cultivate the heart. Without the heart of a strong person, strength alone was useless. Previously, when Lin Feng was enlightened, the system would reward him with a lot of experience points. This showed that the system saw spiritual power as an important reflection of strength. Studying was to cultivate the heart, and now Lin Feng was also cultivating the heart by forging. If you can still find joy in the repetitive and boring movements, then your heart is strong. A week passed by very quickly. It was the weekend again. When Lin Feng came to the town again, he saw a group of people waiting for him. The reputation of being able to bring people to hunt a 1,000-year soul beast was very important. After all, to most people, the temptation of a 1,000-year soul ring was quite big. Many people came after hearing the news, and their purpose was to let Lin Feng bring them to hunt a 1,000-year soul beast. This time, other than the free one, Lin Feng actually received 3 orders for 1,000-year soul rings, and 2 for 500-year soul rings. Because there were requirements, Lin Feng couldn't complete all of them in a day. When they returned to the town at night, Lin Feng had only successfully hunted 4 soul beasts. Among them, there were 2,000-year soul beasts, 1 500-year soul beast, and 100-year soul beast for free. As for the remaining 2, Lin Feng planned to bring a few 100-year soul beasts tomorrow. At night, Lin Feng brought Xiao Ying to the depths of the forest again. While earning experience points, he could also use his life force to nourish Xiao Ying. The next day, Lin Feng continued to bring people to hunt soul beasts and returned in the evening. He left behind the words "come back next week" on the big wooden barrel and quietly disappeared. Just like that, the ordinary and fulfilling days passed one by one. Soon, the school year was over. The Soul Master Academies in Douluo's continent had a long holiday every school year, and today was the first day of the holiday. Xiao Wu said that she wanted to follow Tang San to his house to take a look. Of course, Lin Feng also wanted to return to the Holy Spirit Village. He had not seen old Jack for a while, and Lin Feng had brought back a lot of good things. Early in the morning, the 3 of them set off for the Holy Soul Village. On the way, Lin Feng glanced at his attribute panel and sighed. Name: Lin Feng, Martial Soul, 1,000 Machine Ruler, Immeasurable Flower Soul Power, Level 40 Soul Ring, Snow Lotus, 999, plus Ghost Head Predatory Spider, 3,000 years, plus Iron Bear, 500 years, plus Experience, 1,366,404 inches total. Lin Feng had earned about 2.5 million EXP this year. Other than spending more than 1 million to strengthen 2 soul rings, the rest was all here. Yes, Lin Feng had not gone to obtain his 4th soul ring. It wasn't because he didn't want to, but because he didn't have the time. He didn't have much time in the first place, and after he forged the dark steel heavy armor, Lin Feng took some time to train. If he went to the Great Forest, it would take him a few days to go back and forth. Including the time he spent looking for soul beasts, it would probably take him a week. Therefore, Lin Feng hadn't moved for a year. But now that it was the holiday, he was prepared to go back to the village to visit old Jack, and then set off. His soul power rank didn't change. And if you thought that Lin Feng's strength didn't increase at all, you were wrong. After a year of continuous practice and polishing, Lin Feng was now very familiar with his 3 soul skills, and his soul power had also condensed. If Lin Feng's strength was equivalent to a soul emperor a year ago, Lin Feng was now equivalent to a rank 67 or 68 soul emperor. After obtaining his 4th soul ring, Lin Feng's strength could barely reach the level of a soul sage. Why did he say it was barely? Because Lin Feng estimated that his strength at that time should be able to defeat a soul emperor, but not a soul sage. After all, on the continent of Douluo, a soul elder was the first hurdle for a soul master, and a soul sage was the second hurdle. Once a soul sage became a soul sage, they would obtain a divine skill like the martial soul true body, and their strength would increase greatly. In front of a soul sage, a soul emperor was nothing. The gap was too big. After talking about strength, let's talk about money. Lin Feng would work part-time in the soul-hunting forest every weekend. In this year, his reputation had been completely spread. Generally, when a soul master wanted to advance, the first person they thought of when they went to town was Lin Feng. If Lin Feng wasn't around, they would choose another team. Some people would even wait for Lin Feng to lead them. After all, Lin Feng's results were too frightening. In a year, all the people he led had successfully obtained soul rings, and there hadn't been a single casualty. His completion rate was 100%. This was simply a miracle. Of course, the explosive popularity brought about rich returns. On average, Lin Feng could earn 1,000 gold coins every week. In total, he earned about 40,000 gold coins. After deducting his expenses, Lin Feng only had about 10,000 gold coins left. Of course, Lin Feng didn't spend nearly 30,000 gold coins on food. This large sum of money was mainly spent on a storage-type soul tool. It was a bracelet. Lin Feng wore it on his hand. There was a cubic meter of space inside, and it contained some of Lin Feng's clothes and gold coins, as well as some books. In his hands, Lin Feng brought some gadgets from Nodding City, as well as new clothes and shoes that he had bought for old Jack. The 3 of them played along the way and soon returned to the Holy Soul Village. In fact, Lin Feng was much better than Tang San. Tang San hadn't seen his father for a year, but Lin Feng was different. During this period, he took time to return to the Holy Soul Village. Moreover, old Jack would sometimes look for Lin Feng when he went to Nodding City. Also, it was interesting. When old Jack came to the school, Lin Feng didn't know, and the gatekeeper even stopped him. But when old Jack said that he was looking for Lin Feng, the gatekeeper immediately welcomed him and respectfully. This guy, when he was kicked, he still wanted to find trouble. Later on, when he heard that Lin Feng was from the Genius Academy and became a soul master in his first year, he was scared out of his wits. Not to mention finding trouble with Lin Feng. He couldn't wait to kowtow and apologize to Lin Feng. He was in fear all day, until Lin Feng went out one day, and the latter pounced on him and wanted to kowtow. Lin Feng hurriedly said that he forgave him, and only then did he feel relieved. Sigh. In the end, all of this was caused by strength. The life of an expert was so simple and boring. After returning to the Holy Soul Village, Lin Feng went straight to old Jack's house, while Tang San brought Xiao Wu to his house. The 3 of them separated at the entrance of the village. P.S. Please recommend me. Chapter 42. Little Feng, you're back. It's good that you're back. I knew you'd come back today. Look, this is the lunch I made especially for you. The table was filled with Lin Feng's favorite dishes. Judging from the color, the taste was pretty good. At least it wasn't the dark cuisine from before. It seemed like old Jack had put in a lot of effort. Grandpa Jack, I brought you new clothes and shoes from Notting City, as well as some toys. After throwing the package on the table, Lin Feng grabbed a bowl and started eating. How was it? Did you have fun going to school? Old Jack didn't look at those things and asked with a smile. This wasn't the first time Lin Feng had brought things for old Jack. At first, old Jack refused, but when Lin Feng took out 10 gold coins and gave it to him, he was immediately stunned. After that, he praised everyone he met, saying that his grandson was amazing, that he was promising, and that he would definitely become a sole grandmaster in the future. He was happy all day and didn't worry about the village like before. His body was even a lot better, and he didn't even need to use a walking stick. So at this time, he didn't say anything about these new clothes and shoes. He was only concerned about how Lin Feng's studies were going. It's not bad, Grandpa Jack. The money I gave you was earned by my own ability. Don't save it. I still have a few hundred here. Here, I'll give you another 10 gold coins. After saying that, Lin Feng took out another 10 gold coins and put them on the table. Hey, no need, really no need. Grandpa can't spend all. I still don't have anywhere to spend the gold coins from last time. You can just keep them. Old Jack repeatedly declined. Old Jack was used to living a poor life. He didn't know how to spend the money now that he had, so he kept the money from before. It's fine, just keep them. Without any explanation, Lin Feng forcefully stuffed them into old Jack's hands. Immediately after, Lin Feng poured a cup of water for old Jack. The water was infused with rich life energy. Grandpa Jack, you must be thirsty. Quick, drink some water. Okay. The smile on old Jack's face didn't disappear. Looking at his obedient grandson, Lin Feng, he felt happy no matter how he looked at him. Even looking at Lin Feng, he felt that the water he drank tasted much better. After old Jack drank the water, Lin Feng nodded in satisfaction. This wasn't the first time Lin Feng had done this. The reason why old Jack's body was getting better and better, to the point where he even felt like he was aging, was because of Lin Feng's vitality. This life force not only healed old Jack's old injuries, but also made him full of vitality. In the future, he would never get sick again. With this level of mental strength, it wouldn't be a problem for him to live for a few more decades. While Lin Feng and old Jack were happy, Tang San, on the other hand, was a little sad. He was holding a letter that Tang Hao had left for him and reading it in a daze. After a long time, he put the letter away and looked into the distance with slight sadness. Seeing this, Xiao Wu comforted her. Don't be depressed. Your father is only leaving you temporarily. One day, you two will meet again. You still have me and Feng Gu to accompany you. Tang San's face revealed a bitter smile. This is different. Dad is my only family. Without Dad, the family is no longer a family. If you don't have family, Feng Gu and I will be your family in the future. Come, let's hear you call me Big Sister. Calling me Xiao every day is so rude. Hearing this, Tang San laughed and said with a strange expression, if I remember correctly, we were born in the same year. You were born in August, and I was born in January. I was born half a year earlier than you. You should be the one calling me Big Brother. Don't even think about it. I'll only be your big sister, not your little sister. Xiao Wu lifted her hand and knocked Tang San's head in annoyance. The latter dodged easily. Then, as if thinking of something, he said, let's become sworn brothers. I wanted to become sworn brothers with Feng Gu for a long time. He's been very good to me. Xiao Wu, you don't know. When Grandmaster Su Yuntao awakened us, he invited Feng Gu to Heaven Do City to study. He didn't go because he wanted to accompany me. Feng Gu is really too good to me. He taught us so much in this year. Don't you think we should acknowledge him as our big brother? Of course we should. Xiao Wu also understood that Feng Gu was good to them. It was only a year, but ever since they used Feng Ji's bald head training method, not only did they not become bald, but their soul power cultivation also became faster and faster. They estimated that they would be able to obtain their second soul ring in 1 or 2 months after school started next year. If they were to become sworn brothers, the two of them would be wholeheartedly convinced by him, calling them Big Brother. All right, let's go find Fonga now. With that, Tang San pulled Xiao Wu and went straight to Old Jack's house. After Tang San and Xiao Wu came in, Old Jack immediately greeted them warmly. Xiao San is here. Oh, what a pretty little girl. Is she your classmate too? You haven't eaten yet, right? Come, I made this. You two can eat together. Thank you, Grandpa Jack. Under Tang San's lead, the two of them thanked Old Jack. Lin Feng also smiled and said, Quick, Grandpa Jack's cooking is very delicious. You two are in for a treat. Hearing this, Old Jack immediately held his head high and puffed out his chest. His face was flushed, and he felt like a general who had won a battle. After eating, Tang San and Xiao Wu mysteriously brought Lin Feng out of Old Jack's house. The two of them did not linger in the vicinity. They pulled Lin Feng out of the village. On the way, Lin Feng casually said, It's only been a few days. Don't tell me the two of you want to be beaten up by me again. Wow, Fengge, you're so bad. You want to beat us up until we're like pigs. I'm ignoring you, Xiao Wu said angrily. Lin Feng was slightly depressed. If you don't want to fight with me, what are you going to do? Go out and play in the mud? Fengge, my father left me a letter and secretly left. And I know. Lin Feng nodded. Now. You know Fengge? Where did my father go? Tang San was surprised. You want to do something important. The two of you will meet in the future. Lin Feng smiled and continued to explain. I went back to the Holy Spirit village once and happened to meet your father at home. He told me to take care of you in the future. He has something important to do, and he'll look for you when he's done. Really? Tang San blinked his eyes. He had recovered quite a bit of his energy. Do you think I'd lie to you? Lin Feng did not lie. He had indeed met Tang Hao when he came back. That's good. I thought my father didn't want me anymore. Tang San let out a long sigh of relief. At this time, Xiao Wu saw that the topic had gone off track and quickly returned to the main topic. Fengge, let's become sworn brothers. You're the oldest, so you're our big brother. I'm the second oldest, so I'm Xiao San's second sister. Xiao San is the youngest, so he's the little brother. Lin Feng was speechless. Are you sure Xiao San is the youngest? Of course. Xiao was not confident, but she still held on. Chapter 43. The three of them had become sworn siblings. But in the end, Xiao wasn't able to fulfill her wish. She didn't become the second sister, but the third sister. The Holy Soul Village was just a small village. There were many things that were inconvenient and couldn't keep people. After staying for 4 days, Tang San and Xiao Wu returned to Nodding City and continued to stay in the academy. Lin Feng bade farewell to the two of them and headed to the Setting Sun Forest in Heavendo City. Because of the long holiday, Lin Feng didn't deliberately rush. He walked and stopped along the way, casually experiencing the scenery and customs of Douluo's world. Just like that, Lin Feng left his footprints in many cities, especially Heavendo City. After arriving at the Setting Sun Forest, Lin Feng didn't interact with anyone, nor did he observe anything. Instead, he directly entered the forest. At this moment, Lin Feng was like a hunter leisurely strolling through the forest. 10-year, 100-year, and 1,000-year soul beasts flew past Lin Feng's ears. Lin Feng didn't even want to look at them. These old beasts were too weak. They were so weak that even the system wouldn't give him any experience when fighting them. The Setting Sun Forest was very large and far exceeded the soul-hunting forest. After running for half a day, Lin Feng finally entered the central region of the Setting Sun Forest. Here, there were older soul beasts everywhere. 1,000-year soul beasts didn't dare to come. The weakest soul beasts were at least 5,000 years old. If he was lucky, he could even encounter a 10,000-year soul beast. The deeper he went, the older the soul beasts. Some 30 to 40,000-year soul beasts would even appear in the central region. From here on out, Lin Feng couldn't be as swaggering as before. He had to be more careful. After walking carefully for 2 hours, Lin Feng finally stopped. After resting for a while, he began to walk horizontally in search of suitable soul beasts. Lin Feng's third soul skill was an offensive and defensive soul skill. Its effects were very strong, but to Lin Feng, it was still a purely offensive soul skill. Therefore, for his fourth soul ring, Lin Feng had to hunt soul beasts with extremely strong offensive abilities. It would be best if they were agility-type soul beasts, as such soul beasts were most likely to unleash powerful offensive soul skills. Just like that, Lin Feng leapt between the trees with ease. As he surveyed his surroundings, he also searched for traces of soul beasts. Soul beasts were actually a scarce resource in Douluo's world. Putting aside the soul beasts in the sea, there weren't many soul beasts on land. At this moment, Lin Feng still had to spend some time to find a suitable 10,000-year soul beast. Half an hour later, Lin Feng encountered a 10,000-year lightning mink. The latter seemed to have discovered Lin Feng's tracks, but Lin Feng quickly retreated, and it did not pursue him. In this circle of 10,000-year soul beasts, Lin Feng did not dare to casually fight unless he had carefully surveyed his surroundings. This was because when he fought, he might be close to another soul beast territory. If he fought with this soul beast, the other soul beast would hear the commotion and immediately come over. If both of them were 10,000-year soul beasts, Lin Feng felt that he could still deal with them. However, if one of them were 20 or 30,000-year soul beasts, he could only run. It wasn't that he couldn't defeat it, but that he couldn't kill it. Lin Feng lacked soul skills that could kill him, but he couldn't kill it either. In this kind of place, if a stalemate attracted even stronger soul beasts, Lin Feng would be in danger. Therefore, Lin Feng would not act rashly in a situation where he wasn't confident. As he continued to wander, Lin Feng engraved the word steady in his heart. If he could not get close, he would not get close. He only analyzed the soul beasts in his territory based on what he had learned. In this way, Lin Feng still did not find a suitable soul beast late into the night. Not continuing to search, Lin Feng found a tree hole and made do with it for the night. Actually, in the territory of high-level soul beasts, it could be said to be dangerous, but it could also be said to be not dangerous. This was because there was usually only one strong soul beast in these territories. There were very few 1,000-year and 100-year soul beasts. Even if Lin Feng swaggered here, it would probably be very difficult for him to encounter any danger. Of course, if he met the boss of the territory, a fierce battle would be unavoidable. The tree hole that Lin Feng found was very hidden. At the entrance, Lin Feng even used the 1000G ruler to block it. This night was easily passed by Lin Feng. The next morning, after casually eating something, Lin Feng once again searched for a suitable soul beast. His luck was pretty good today. After half a day of searching, Lin Feng found a suitable soul beast in the afternoon. The Fireweaver monkey was a 10,000-year soul beast. Its exact age was hard to say, but Lin Feng estimated that it was at least 13,000 years old. Don't be fooled by its small size. This monkey was an expert at playing with fire. Its weakness was its fear of water, and monkey-type soul beasts were not low in intelligence. It would be interesting to fall into its trap. Thus, Lin Feng did not rush to make a move after discovering the monkey. Instead, he first scouted the surroundings. After confirming that there was no danger, he relaxed and approached. The Fireweaver monkey's reaction was very quick. After sensing Lin Feng's approach, it immediately climbed onto a tree branch and bared its fangs at Lin Feng. Lin Feng was unfazed. He no longer hid his tracks and rushed towards the Fireweaver monkey. Gee! The monkey let out a strange cry. A fireball suddenly appeared in each of its hands, and it threw it at Lin Feng. Lin Feng easily dodged, his speed not decreasing in the slightest. Seeing this, the Fireweaver monkey was enraged. Fireballs appeared in both of its hands again, and it continuously threw them at Lin Feng. This time, Lin Feng no longer dodged. He raised his left hand, and the 1000 manipulation ruler transformed into a shield and blocked in front of him. Although this greatly reduced his speed, it allowed him to ignore the fireballs and steadily charge towards the monkey. At this moment, Lin Feng was less than 30 meters away from the monkey. The monkey seemed to have sensed the danger and stopped throwing fireballs. Instead, It raised a 5-meter-tall wall of fire in front of Lin Feng. Insignificant skill. The thousand manipulation ruler transformed into a sphere and wrapped around Lin Feng, then charged through the wall of fire. But when Lin Feng arrived, he was dumbfounded. The monkey had disappeared from the tree branch in front of him. Was a 10,000-year-old beast really that realistic? They hadn't even fought yet, and it had already run away after testing the waters? What made Lin Feng the most helpless was that the Fireweaver monkey was extremely agile. It only took a few rolls for it to disappear. He wouldn't be able to catch up in a short amount of time. However, Lin Feng had already scouted the monkey's territory. It wasn't very large, so Lin Feng decided to keep watch. If he couldn't catch it in one day, then he would wait 2 days. If 2 days weren't enough, then he would wait 3. He didn't believe that he wouldn't be able to catch a monkey that played with fire in a few days. He still had more than a month of vacation. At worst, he could just wait. There would be a time when he could catch it. The Fireweaver monkey's weakness was water, but Lin Feng's 1,000 manipulation ruler happened to be able to block its attacks. It could be considered another type of restraint. Of course, the Fireweaver monkey's flames were still very powerful. When they hit the 1,000 manipulation ruler's shield, they caused quite a bit of damage. But as soon as the damage appeared, Lin Feng used his soul power to repair it. As long as he had enough soul power, Lin Feng didn't have to worry about his defense being broken. Chapter 44. For the next half a day, Lin Feng searched the Fireweaver monkey's territory, but the monkey seemed to have hidden itself. Lin Feng couldn't find it. That night, Lin Feng swaggered around in the open space, meditating. He didn't have any other intentions other than to taunt the Fireweaver monkey. The monkey's intelligence wasn't low, so it should be able to understand Lin Feng's taunts. Things went as Lin Feng expected. In the middle of the night, Lin Feng pretended to be drowsy and actually fell asleep. At that moment, a giant fireball flew straight for Lin Feng's head. At the same time, Lin Feng was completely surrounded by a wall of fire, leaving him nowhere to hide. Good heavens! This monkey is strong. It's going for the kill. Lin Feng's expression turned grave. The 1,000 trickery ruler quickly turned into a sphere and wrapped around his body. At that moment, the giant fireball slammed into the sphere. Boom! The impact blasted a large hole in the sphere. Lin Feng quickly repaired the hole with his soul power, but it took time. And in this time gap, the big fireball exploded and split into smaller fireballs that drilled into the inner part of the ball, shooting straight at Lin Feng's face. Third soul skill. Armored Devil Bear Transformation. First soul skill. Life Bloom. Lin Feng released the 2 soul skills at the same time. The fireball smashed into Lin Feng's white figure and sizzled as it burned. At the same time, the Fireweaver monkey wasn't just watching Lin Feng block. The moment the fireball exploded, the monkey's hands danced in the air, sending 4 walls of fire crashing down on Lin Feng. At the same time, countless smaller fireballs appeared in the air and smashed into Lin Feng. Good heavens, the monkey only used its hands to throw fireballs. So it was just a show of weakness. What a scheme. Lin Feng felt a sense of crisis. He didn't want to stand there and become a live target. Lin Feng used the sphere as a shield, and his right hand spat out life force. Enduring a portion of the damage from the fireballs, he charged towards the Fireweaver monkey. Second soul skill. Shadow Bind. Dark purple energy flew towards the Fireweaver monkey. The latter was caught off guard and was wrapped up. Unfortunately, in the next second, its body suddenly burst into flames. The energy dissipated before it could form a giant net. Immediately after, the monkey turned around and ran without any hesitation. Damn it! I can't restrain it. Lin Feng cursed in a low voice. He quickly caught up, and as he ran, he condensed a spear and threw it. However, the Fireweaver monkey possessed the unique agility of a monkey-type soul beast, and Lin Feng was unable to hit it. After chasing for half a minute, Lin Feng came to a stop, his expression ugly. You sure run fast. Next time, I'll definitely catch you. Although he said that, Lin Feng knew that with the monkey's intelligence, it would be difficult for Lin Feng to catch it again. He would probably have to set up a trap or ambush to kill it. It didn't matter. So be it. Lin Feng planned to spend a month here. Ding! After a hair-raising battle, host battle experience has increased. Experience plus 82151. Although the battle was difficult, the experience gained was still relatively high. Just like that, Lin Feng spent the next week with the Fireweaver monkey. Every night, he would try to seduce it, but the monkey wouldn't fall for it. During the day, he would play hide-and-seek with it. Unable to find it, Lin Feng was quite depressed. But this morning, a sound attracted Lin Feng's attention. From time to time, the roars of soul beasts fighting could be heard. But this time, the sound didn't come from a soul beast, but rather from a soul master. When Lin Feng first came to the Setting Sun Forest, he had encountered several teams in the outer regions. But after coming to the central region, he hadn't encountered a single soul master. He hadn't expected to encounter such a pleasant surprise after a week. With that thought in mind, Lin Feng immediately ran in the direction of the sound. He didn't rashly approach. Instead, he observed the situation from afar. After all, those who could reach this depth were at least soul emperors. There were quite a few people who had heard the sound. Lin Feng was afraid of being discovered and causing a misunderstanding, so he kept his distance. Jumping up and down on a large tree, Lin Feng changed his angle of view 3 times before he could clearly see the situation through the gaps between the branches. There were a total of 4 people, 3 old men and a gorgeously dressed youth. The old men were all dressed in black and were around 60 years old. The youth was around 17 years old. He was handsome and had an outstanding temperament, giving people a favorable impression at first glance. The commotion from before was caused by these 4 people. But now that the battle was over, Lin Feng saw the corpse of a 10,000-year soul beast beside them. It was a storm wolf. They probably didn't take the initiative to kill it. The wolf wanted to kill the 4 people, but it was killed instead. This was because the youth didn't try to obtain the soul ring after the battle ended. This scene caused Lin Feng to frown. He began to guess who the youth was. The 3 old men should be the youth's guards. From the commotion just now to the end of the battle, even if the 3 of them attacked at the same time, a soul emperor wouldn't be able to deal with them. Therefore, these 3 people were at least soul sages. They might even be soul Douluo, and this youth was around 17 years old. There were only 2 possibilities for him not to absorb the 10,000-year soul ring after seeing it. First, this soul ring wasn't suitable for him, so he didn't absorb it. Second, this youth didn't care about the soul ring at all. He could absorb a stronger one. Of these 2 possibilities, Lin Feng was more inclined towards the second one. This was because this group of people didn't even stop after killing the storm wolf. They didn't move horizontally like Lin Feng, but directly walked deeper into the forest. This action perfectly matched Lin Feng's second guess. This youth should want to absorb a soul ring with a higher age. Combined with the strength of the soul sages and soul Douluo's bodyguards and the 17-year-old Tang San's strength, the youth with the cheat. Lin Feng immediately deduced the youth's identity and the age of the soul beast he wanted to kill. It was definitely him. More accurately, it was her. She was the Heavendo Empire's crown prince, Xue Qinghe. At the same time, she was Bibi Dong's daughter, Qian Renxue. She actually came to the Setting Sun Forest. It seemed like she was here to obtain her 6th soul ring. After knowing this, Lin Feng didn't have any other thoughts. Curious? Maybe a little, but it wasn't very serious. Let her be. In any case, the 2 sides shouldn't have any interactions for the time being. It was a pity that the storm wolf died. If only it hadn't died. If Lin Feng killed it, he wouldn't have to guard the Fireweaver monkey anymore. Shaking his head, Lin Feng didn't look any further and returned to the Fireweaver monkey's territory. After guarding it for a week, Lin Feng wasn't one to give up so easily. His 4th soul ring had to belong to this monkey. With that thought in mind, Lin Feng found a secluded place to hide and waited for the Fireweaver monkey to take the bait. 3 hours quickly passed. Lin Feng didn't see anything. Instead, a loud noise came from the depths of the forest, as if a great battle had broken out. Chapter 45. After the sound appeared, it didn't disappear immediately. Instead, it came one after another. At this point, Lin Feng was sure that Qian Renxue and the three elders were causing trouble in Tokyo. The sound seemed to come from 3 to 4 kilometers away. Lin Feng didn't know what was going on, and he couldn't care less. However, this was a good opportunity. With such a huge commotion, the Fireweaver monkey would definitely be alerted. Lin Feng had to search carefully for an opportunity to launch a sneak attack. Thinking of this, Lin Feng started to wander around. However, as he spun around, Lin Feng's expression turned slightly strange. He realized that the rumbling sound was actually approaching him at high speed. Fuck! What the hell? They can't win, so they're running away? That shouldn't be the case. From the distance, that place should be in the central region of the setting sun forest. 3 soul sages and soul Douluo's bodyguards. They should be able to deal with 50,000-year soul beasts, let alone 20,000-year soul beasts. What's going on? Lin Feng was very confused. Just as he was thinking about whether or not to leave, Lin Feng's sharp eyes saw that the Fireweaver monkey was right in front of him. Lin Feng didn't hesitate. He immediately rushed forward. This damn monkey. This is such a good opportunity. I have to kill it. Lin Feng wasn't being rash. He was confident in his chances. The 1000G ruler had a way to hide one's aura. If there was any danger, Lin Feng could find a bush to hide and use the 1000G ruler to cover himself. This way, Lin Feng's aura would disappear. Unless a soul beast saw him, no one would be able to discover him. When the commotion was over, wouldn't Lin Feng be able to leave whenever he wanted? With this thought in mind, Lin Feng decided to act rashly. At this moment, the rumbling sound was getting closer. Lin Feng could faintly hear a shout. "Your Highness, this place should be safe. The 3 of us will block these mad bears. Leave quickly. We'll meet up later." Mad bears? Also, Qianrenxue was nearby. He didn't have time to think too much about it. The Fireweaver monkey seemed to have been attracted by the sound in the distance and was standing on the tree trunk in front of him. At this moment, Lin Feng was already 30 meters away from the monkey. Lin Feng paused for 2 seconds. After confirming that the other party had not discovered him, he condensed a long spear and slowly approached again. At this moment, before Lin Feng could attack, the Fireweaver monkey attacked first. However, what puzzled Lin Feng was that the monkey's target wasn't Lin Feng, but another blind spot that was blocked by a big tree. Stupid monkey. Lin Feng knew that the opportunity couldn't be missed. He didn't care at all why the monkey was attacking him. He suddenly leaped up and stabbed his spear into the back of the monkey's head. With a sneak attack, he killed the monkey in a single strike. In the end, it was just a soul beast. Maybe it was a little smart, but it still couldn't be compared to a human. Lin Feng killed it in close combat. Ding! After a swift assassination, the host has killed the year 14,154 soul beast, Fireweaver monkey. Battle experience increased. Experience points +1, 1, 2, 1, 5, 1. At the same time, Lin Feng also saw the situation behind the tree. It was Qianrenxue. She had been running in this direction when she was ambushed by the Fireweaver monkey. At this moment, she was wielding a long sword and easily dispersed the fireball. When she raised her head, she happened to meet eyes with Lin Feng, who was holding the Fireweaver monkey's corpse. It had to be said that Qianrenxue was quite amazing. The hole in Lin Feng's mask was extremely small, allowing her to directly see Lin Feng's eyes. She was quite observant. "Who are you?" Qianrenxue immediately pointed her sword at Lin Feng. At this moment, Qianrenxue's appearance didn't reveal anything. However, that skillful sword technique was not something the current Shueqinghe could possess. Although this was only a small detail, Lin Feng's masked appearance made her feel uneasy. This was especially so when Lin Feng heard her question. He didn't say a word and turned to leave with the Fireweaver monkey's corpse. How could Qianrenxue let him go? She immediately chased after him with her sword. "Stop! Who are you? If you don't explain yourself today, don't even think about leaving." Logically speaking, soul masters who could come to this place were at least soul emperors. How could a soul emperor not recognize the Heaven Do Empire's crown prince? There was something fishy about this matter. Qianrenxue had to figure out Lin Feng's identity. As for why Lin Feng didn't say anything and immediately retreated, there was no other reason. It was because the monkey's soul ring was about to appear. He had to find a place to absorb it. Just like this, one fled while the other chased. Soon, Lin Feng took advantage of the moment before the soul ring appeared to enter a cave. After several turns, they arrived at a small corner. Lin Feng covered himself with the 1,000-trickery ruler and began to absorb the soul ring. Although the process of Lin Feng absorbing the soul ring was short, he could still be in trouble if he was disturbed. Therefore, Lin Feng had to ensure his own safety while absorbing the soul ring. Qian Renshue suddenly stopped at the entrance of the cave. She was afraid there would be an ambush inside. She looked around and found that it was only a small cave. Qian Renshue decided to guard it. It wouldn't be long before her 3 soul Douluo level guardians arrived. At that time, the masked man would have nowhere to run. Thinking this, Qian Renshue waited quietly at the entrance. At this moment, Lin Feng had finished absorbing his 4th soul ring. Name: Lin Feng Martial Souls, 1,000 Trickery Ruler, Immeasurable Flower Soul Power. Rank 42, plus Soul Ring. Snow Lotus 999 years, plus Ghost Head Predatory Spider 3,000 years, plus Armored Bear 5,000 years, plus Fireweaver Monkey 14,154 years, plus Experience Points 1518365. The Fireweaver Monkey's Soul Ring was over 14,000 years. After absorbing it, Lin Feng's soul power reached rank 42. Furthermore, it gave him a pure attack-type soul skill. Lin Feng named his 4th soul skill Blazing Flower Ring. Why was it named so? Because after using the soul skill, Lin Feng could throw out a flower of flames. The flower was very beautiful, but it was also very dangerous. It was an AoE skill, which meant it was an area of effect skill. As for how effective it was, Lin Feng didn't know. However, from the strength of this 10,000-year soul skill and the previous soul skills, it definitely wouldn't be bad. He checked the experience points required to level up. 30,000. Without hesitation, Lin Feng spent 240,000 experience points to reach rank 50. The buffs from a 10,000-year soul ring were terrifying. At this moment, Lin Feng felt that he was very strong, very strong. However, now was not the time to be arrogant. There was still Qian Renshue outside. Lin Feng had to leave this place as soon as possible. Qian Renshue was not scary. The scary thing was the 3 old men. If they arrived, Lin Feng would have a hard time escaping. Furthermore, Qian Renshue was Bibi Dong's daughter and the successor to the Angel Throne. Lin Feng didn't believe that she didn't have some tricks up her sleeve. Therefore, of the 36 stratagems, the best was to escape. Lin Feng activated his armored demonic bear transformation and rushed out of the cave. At this moment, Qian Renshue had been waiting for Lin Feng. The moment he appeared, Qian Renshue stabbed her sword towards Lin Feng. However, she had underestimated Lin Feng's strength. In a situation where Qian Renshue didn't want to expose her angel martial soul, she could not stop Lin Feng with only stretching his strength. The latter easily knocked Qian Renshue away and rushed out of the forest. His speed was much faster than before, and he disappeared in an instant. Chapter 46. Qian Renshue looked at the distant Lin Feng and gritted her teeth. In the end, she didn't chase after him, and instead ran back into the cave. She was a little curious. Where did the Fireweaver monkey's corpse go? From a situation just now, did the masked man kill the Fireweaver monkey to save her? Or did he come here to hunt a soul beast? Hunting a 10,000-year soul beast alone? Was he trying to become a soul emperor? But that guy definitely didn't look more than 20 years old. Was there such a young genius on the Douluo continent? With all kinds of guesses and doubts, Qian Renshue came to the cave. After several turns, she finally saw the Fireweaver monkey's corpse. No soul ring. Did that guy purposely scatter it? Or did he absorb it? If it was the former, the situation would be better. It meant that the masked man wasn't here to obtain a soul ring. He might have been lucky enough to kill the Fireweaver monkey. Although the other party was also a genius, the level of genius was still acceptable. But if it was the latter, it meant that the other party was a genius on the same level as her. With this kind of talent, he shouldn't be a nobody. Why hadn't she heard of him before? Could it be that he was secretly nurtured by some family? Suddenly, Qian Renxue became very interested in Lin Feng. She didn't plan to report this to the Martial Spirit Hall. Qian Renxue hated the Martial Spirit Hall and hated the person who sent her as a spy. At this moment, Qian Renxue decided that she would secretly investigate this matter alone. Lin Feng didn't know what Qian Renxue was thinking. At this moment, he ran to the outskirts of the forest. Moreover, he still felt that it wasn't safe, so he continued to run until he was out of the forest. It was no wonder that Lin Feng was so vigilant. That was Qian Renxue, Bibi Dong's daughter, who knew if she was hiding an expert by her side. Lin Feng didn't want to meet them at all. Of course, he would run first. Originally, Lin Feng wanted to continue to obtain his 5th soul ring. But now it seemed that he should lie low for a while and wait for a while before coming here to obtain another soul ring. Thinking about this, Lin Feng directly ran to a nearby city and spent a few days in peace. During this time, he had been inquiring about the Martial Spirit Palace and the Sunset Forest. Originally, Lin Feng thought that the Martial Spirit Palace would make a big move in the Sunset Forest. However, after observing for a while, Lin Feng found that there was no news at all. Was he deliberately baiting him, or did he not take him seriously at all? No matter what, Lin Feng did not dare to gamble due to his vigilance. After thinking about it, Lin Feng did not want to stay here any longer and decided to return to Nodding City. In any case, Lin Feng had plenty of time. He could come back next year to obtain his 5th soul ring. He could take advantage of this year's time to properly digest today's harvest. Lin Feng discovered that there were great benefits to having a solid foundation. After a year of tempering, Lin Feng discovered that his soul power was incomparably condensed. Even if he used hundreds of soul skills in a short period of time, his soul power would only be depleted by less than half. Although the main reason was that Lin Feng's martial soul was special and the consumption of soul power was very small, the condensation of soul power was also a factor. No matter what, it was better to fight steadily and surely. After returning to Nodding City, his life became solid again. However, what Lin Feng did not know was that after returning to Heaven-Do City, Qian Renxue began to send people to secretly investigate his identity. There were countless masked soul masters on the Douluo continent. If they were to investigate each and every one of them in secret, it would be almost impossible to do so. However, Qian Renxue still managed to obtain some information about Lin Feng, such as the style of his mask, the strength of his soul emperor rank, and his age under 20. Under these 3 conditions, the difficulty of the investigation was undoubtedly reduced by a lot. Unfortunately, Qian Renxue could not personally investigate because on the surface, she could still go to the 7 Treasures Glaze sect to learn as Shueqinghe in the next few years. She only hoped that her subordinates could do some work. Otherwise, she could only wait for her to finish her studies and then personally look for him. In a flash, half a year had passed. Today was a rather special day. Tang San had reached rank 20, and Lin Feng was going to bring him to the soul hunting forest to hunt for his 2nd soul ring. Actually, to be precise, Tang San had reached rank 20 for a week. The reason why he chose to set off a week later was naturally to wait for Xiao Wu. However, just yesterday, Xiao Wu said that she had something to do outside the academy. When she returned, she said that she was lucky and had already obtained a soul ring. Regarding this, Tang San did not have any other thoughts other than expressing his envy. Lin Feng did not point it out and pretended not to know. He also envied her a few times, and this made Xiao Wu show off for an entire day. Previously, Lin Feng had specially instilled a principle in Tang San and Xiao Wu, and that was that the tallest tree would be destroyed by Lin Feng. Under the long-term influence of the imperceptible influence, the two also knew the importance of hiding one's strength. Therefore, at this time, in the eyes of the master and some outsiders, their soul power was only rank 15, and they would probably wait until they were 3 or 4 years old to obtain a soul ring. Just like this, Lin Feng led the 2 of them and went straight to the soul hunting forest without anyone knowing. Since they were secretly moving, they naturally had to do it secretly. Without even reaching the small town, Lin Feng ran to the edge of the wall and directly jumped into the forest with the two of them. Fengge is so strong. Xiaosan, I think Fengge might have reached the third level of hiding one's strength. On the surface, he said that he was a rank 21 soul grandmaster, but in fact, he didn't even show us his second soul ring. I feel that he's almost rank 30. After landing, Xiao Wu quietly said to Tang San. Previously, when Lin Feng taught them how to hide one's strength, he had divided it into 4 levels. Lin Feng directly expressed it in terms of levels. The first level was dumbness. Say whatever you want and show what you are without hiding it all. The second level was to reveal 90% of one's strength and hide 10%. This could be achieved by ordinary people and was very easy to hide. The third level was to reveal 70% and hide 30%. This was slightly more difficult. After all, what you said was one thing, but whether others believed it or not was another. What you said, what you showed, what others believed, that was what you were hiding. The fourth level was to hide half and reveal half. Those who could reach the fourth level were not ordinary people. For example, Xiao Ming was in his 3rd year of high school. For a year, his total score in every exam was around 300 points. Everyone in class felt that Xiao Ming couldn't even get into a 3rd-tier university and could only go to a specialist university. But in the month before the college entrance exam, he worked hard every night, reviewed desperately, and worked hard to do questions and papers. And he didn't tell anyone about these things. He was prepared to amaze everyone during the college entrance exam. Then, during the college entrance exam, things went as Xiao Ming expected. His hard work paid off. He actually scored more than 500 points and directly got into a 1st-tier university. This shocked all the students. These are the 4 levels of hiding one's strength that Lin Feng taught to Tang San and Xiao Wu. Chapter 47. Were there only 4 levels of concealment? In fact, there was more than that. There was a 5th level, which could conceal more than half of it. But to say that it was a 5th level wasn't actually true. This was because it couldn't be considered concealment anymore. It was called cheating. Take a soul master, for example. There was a limit to what cultivation level 1 should have at a certain age. A 12-year-old soul master who could reach rank 11 was considered an ordinary person. A rank 15 soul master was outstanding. A rank 19 soul master was a genius. A rank 20 and above was a monster. A rank 25 and above was a peerless monster. Why were Shrek's 7 monsters so strong in the original work? Because those 7 people were all peerless monsters. But what if someone became a soul elder at the age of 12? This was no longer something that could be explained by talent. This was called cheating. Maybe you consumed some kind of treasure, or you had innate full soul power and directly reached rank 20. Or you had a system like Lin Feng. Under these circumstances, you could still act like an ordinary soul master in the eyes of others. This was called the 5th level of concealment. Coincidentally, Lin Feng belonged to this 5th level of concealment. In the eyes of others, his strength was only that of a rank 10 soul master. However, this was only the 1st level of Lin Feng's disguise. Those who saw more, like Tang San, thought that he was a rank 29 soul grandmaster. This was only his 2nd level of disguise. When Tang San discovered more, Lin Feng would directly use the 3rd level of disguise and pretend that his true strength was discovered. There was still a 4th level, a 5th level, until the 10th level. In any case, in order to ensure that he didn't attract strong enemies, Lin Feng wouldn't reveal his full strength before he could deal with all the dangers in the Douluo continent. This was Lin Feng's first principle to establish himself in the Douluo continent. Cough, cough, I've gone too far. At this moment, after stepping into the soul-hunting forest, Tang San deeply agreed with Xiao Wu's words. Lin Feng hid his strength too well. Fortunately, it was his brother. Otherwise, if they met as enemies in the future, he wouldn't know how to deal with him. Lin Feng didn't pay attention to the two of them whispering to each other. Instead, he ran towards the forest with a goal in mind. Lin Feng had already found 3 or 4 suitable soul rings for Tang San's 2nd soul ring. Lin Feng had already memorized the approximate locations of these soul beasts. The first one was a willow soul beast that was about 650 years old. Unfortunately, the willow soul beast was already dead by the time Lin Feng brought the two of them here. It was probably killed by someone. Lin Feng continued to run towards the second location. It was a ghost vine soul beast that was close to 700 years old. It seemed that Tang San's second soul ring in the original work came from this ghost vine. His luck was pretty good. When Lin Feng arrived, the soul beast was still there. Feng Ge, this ghost vine has a cultivation of close to 700 years. Can we beat it? When they were rushing through the forest earlier, Lin Feng casually kicked away the 100-year soul beast that they encountered along the way. However, this was a terrifying soul beast that was close to 700 years old. The ghost vine was extremely poisonous and could parasitize a person's body. Even a soul elder would die if they weren't careful. Could the three of them beat it? Tang San was very worried about this. However, Lin Feng smiled. Wait a moment. I'll knead this vine into a ball for you guys. Lin Feng wasn't boasting. If he said he would knead it into a ball, then he would knead it into a ball. Under the worried gazes of Tang San and Xiao Wu, Lin Feng rushed forward. The ghost vine sensed danger and whipped a vine towards Lin Feng. Feng Ge, be careful. Subconsciously, Tang San wanted to make a move. However, Lin Feng made a hand gesture to reassure him and then grabbed the vine. Then, under the shocked gazes of the two, Lin Feng pulled the ghost vine out bit by bit like a tug of war. Then, he kneaded it into a ball like he was playing with mud. After more than a minute, looking at the ghost vine that was really kneaded into a ball by Lin Feng, Tang San was speechless. What happened to the poison? What happened to the parasitism? Why is Feng Ge completely fine? Lin Feng threw the ball at Tang San's feet and said with a smile, kill it and absorb its soul ring. The ghost vine still had some strength. After catching it, it actually wanted to resist. In the end, it was directly crippled by his soul power. Feng Ge, this is a ghost vine that's almost 700 years old. Even a soul elder might not be able to defeat it. You killed it so easily. Xiao Wu also had a face of disbelief. Oh, you're talking about this. Lin Feng scratched his head. Maybe it's because I'm an auxiliary-type soul master. This ghost vine knows that I'm very weak, so it deliberately helped me? The two rolled their eyes and didn't want to say anything. For more than a year, every time they doubted Feng Ge's strength, he would use the excuse of being an auxiliary-type soul master to dismiss them. Regarding this, the two of them were already speechless. But then again, the title of an auxiliary-type soul master was like a natural shield. When other soul masters heard that you were an auxiliary-type soul master, they would subconsciously think that your strength wasn't very strong. As if their hearts were connected, Tang San and Xiao Wu looked at each other and saw a trace of craftiness in each other's eyes. Tang San quickly killed the ghost vine and then absorbed the soul ring. In the afternoon, the three of them left the soul-hunting forest and came to the edge of the town. With a wave of his hand, two tailor-made masks appeared in Lin Feng's hands. Then, he handed them to Tang San and Xiao Wu. I told you before that my second soul ring was obtained in the soul-hunting forest, and it was Mr. Destroy who helped me obtain it. You all know this. Yes. The two of them took the masks and nodded repeatedly. Lin Feng continued. My part-time job was to help Mr. Destroy. When he brought people to the soul-hunting forest to hunt soul beasts, I was in charge of the logistics. Mr. Destroy was very good to me. Not only did he help me obtain my second soul ring, he also taught me a lot of soul master knowledge. This spatial bracelet was also given to me by him. He's the strongest team in this town that can lead people to obtain soul rings. For more than a year, he hasn't failed once. He can even hunt 1,000-year soul beasts. But not long ago, he had to leave because of something. So, I brought the two of you here to take over this business. Do you understand? Regarding the identity of Thanos, Lin Feng had disguised him as an expert who treated him extremely well. He had mentioned it to Tang San several times before. Now that he mentioned it, they weren't very confused. Tang San asked, Feng Ge, do you mean that the three of us will be like Mr. Destroy's team and bring people to the soul-hunting forest to obtain soul rings to earn money? Smart. Lin Feng nodded and said, but we can't kill 1,000-year soul beasts. The best we could do is take on 500-year soul beasts. Other than the first few months, when there were a lot of 1,000-year soul beasts, there weren't many of them later on. So at this time, Lin Feng changed his identity and didn't take on 1,000-year soul beasts. Chapter 48. Seeing the two of them put on their masks, Lin Feng also pretended to take out the purple mask transformed from the 1,000-G ruler and put it on his face. After obtaining the fourth soul ring, Lin Feng discovered that the 1,000-G ruler could change colors, but was limited to white, purple, yellow, and blue on the petals of the immeasurable flower. Now that he had changed his identity, of course, he had to wear a new mask. Before we go in, the two of you think of a code name. In the future, when we wear masks, we will use this name. Don't get it wrong. Fengge, your mask looks a little fierce. What's your code name? Xiao Wu asked curiously. My code name is Black Tiger Afu. Just call me Black Tiger when the time comes. Black Tiger Afu? Fengge, your mask is not a tiger. Why is it called that? Tang Xin muttered. None of your business. I like it. Lin Feng urged. Hurry up. The two of you quickly think a code name. Otherwise, I will give you a name. No. Fengge, please don't. With your level of naming, I will do it myself. Xiao Wu hurriedly thought. At this moment, Tang San said, My code name will be Blue Silvergrass. Then I will be called Softbone Rabbit. Xiao Wu followed. No, these two names are too silly. Others will know your martial soul immediately. I thought about it. Xiao San will be called Illusion, and Xiao Wu will be called Scarlet. Tang San and Xiao Wu were both dumbfounded, so he had already thought about it. Since that was the case, why did he let them choose it themselves? Don't just stand there, let's go to town. Later, you don't have to speak, just follow me. After saying that, Lin Feng brought the two of them to town. A few minutes later, Lin Feng brought the two of them to the large wooden barrel where they used to stand. This large wooden barrel had become a symbol of Thanos. Every time Lin Feng appeared, he would appear on top of this barrel. At this time, there were already many people waiting by the barrel. When they saw Lin Feng and the other two, the group of people all looked over. Their eyes were filled with curiosity and scrutiny. This was because they noticed that the style of the masks worn by Lin Feng and the other two was very similar to Thanos's. I'm a little nervous. It was Xiao Wu's first time being surrounded by so many soul masters. This was different from the group of children in school, so she was a little nervous. Tang San held her hand and comforted her. Don't worry, it'll be fine. Right at this moment, Lin Feng jumped onto the wooden barrel that was specially used for Thanos. The faces of the people waiting around changed. Just as they were about to scold him, Lin Feng spoke first. My name is Black Tiger Fu. You can call me Black Tiger. I'm Lord Thanos' assistant. Mr. Destroy has something to do and left. His return date is unknown. In the future, my team will temporarily take over Mr. Destroy's job and lead people to hunt soul beasts. As usual, the tokens will be free. At the same time, there will be 5 more bosses. But I'm not as strong as Mr. Destroy, so my team will only accept 500-year soul beasts at most. As soon as he finished speaking, someone in the crowd immediately shouted, How do we know if you're pretending to be Mr. Destroy's assistant? Also, we don't know your strength. How can we be at ease and follow you? Their suspicions were reasonable. Previously, there had been people who pretended to be Lin Feng's friends in town. They then went to bring people, but in the end, they ran away with their money. There was no way to put an end to this. Even though Lin Feng had said that anyone who dared to impersonate him would be hunted down and killed, it was useless. The cheaters still appeared as usual, but this time, Lin Feng's appearance was bolder. At the time when Thanos would normally appear, he directly stood on the opponent's big barrel. Because of this, the crowd didn't directly chase Lin Feng off the stage. After all, if it was a scammer, he wouldn't dare to show up at this time. Moreover, he was standing on the barrel. If he was discovered by Thanos, he would be courting death. Lin Feng smiled faintly in response to the crowd's suspicions. Mr. Destroy knew that people wouldn't believe him. Before he left, he told me to find a soul elder and beat him up. It wasn't just the crowd that was confused. Even Tang San and Xiao Wu were confused. Why was he going to beat up a soul elder? What did this have to do with proving his identity? Without waiting for the crowd's reaction, Lin Feng casually pointed out the 3 soul elders present and directly said, "Which one of you 3 wants to go up?" The 3 of them were startled. They looked at each other, but none of them went up. The situation was very clear. The 3 of them didn't have any soul power fluctuations. This black tiger Afu was able to immediately know their strength. This guy wasn't simple. Legend had it that when Mr. Destroy first came to town to bring people, because no one believed him, he beat his soul elder to death with a stick. If that was the case, these 3 people were very likely to be Mr. Destroy's assistants. After all, their arrogance was the same. One of the soul elders immediately said, "There's no need to fight. We admit that you are Mr. Destroy's assistant." These soul elders usually came to help their children or relatives hunt soul beasts, but they didn't have the confidence to kill 5 or 600-year soul beasts. After hearing about Thanos' deeds, they wanted to spend some money to let their children have a better future. Perhaps some people couldn't understand these soul elders' thoughts, but Lin Feng understood them very well. For example, Xiaoming's math results were very bad. Out of 100 marks, he could only get 60 marks. Xiaoming's father thought that he could help Xiaoming improve his math results, but he knew that it would be very good if he could get 80 marks. At this time, there was a cram school outside. As long as he spent 500 yuan to attend the cram school, Xiaoming's score would definitely be 95 marks. If he couldn't attend the cram school, he would be refunded. Xiaoming's father saw that and naturally chose to spend money to enroll in the cram school. Anyway, this amount of money wasn't much to him. If he could help his child get 95 marks, it was worth it. At this time, these soul elders were equivalent to Xiaoming's father, and Lin Feng was the cram school. After a soul elder personally admitted Lin Feng's identity, the atmosphere in the field became lively. Soon, Lin Feng accepted the order. Lin Feng, Tang San, and Xiao Wu stood in front of the entrance. The 3 of them straightened their clothes and adjusted their masks at the same time. This series of actions was neat and uniform, and the bystanders who saw it called them professional. "Let's go," Lin Feng ordered, and the group entered the soul-hunting forest. At this time, Tang San and Xiao Wu were still in a daze. This series of actions had really expanded their worldview. After regaining their senses, the 2 of them felt unusually excited. Half an hour after entering the forest, the group walked quietly and didn't stop. The group of bosses thought, "This black tiger is worthy of being Mr. Destroy's assistant. The way he does things is very similar to the rumored Mr. Destroy. They don't talk much. It seems like this time, it's a sure thing." This thought was very reassuring, until they met the first 100-year soul beast that took the initiative to look for trouble. The assistant, named Black Tiger, suddenly jumped up and shouted, "Crowfly." Chapter 49. The 7 Treasures Glaze sect was located in the mountains near Heavendo City. In the southwest corner of the conference hall, west of the sect's plaza, there was a bustling main hall. The crown prince of the Heavendo Empire, Xue Qinghe, lived here. Sect Master Ning Fengji would usually teach Xue Qinghe in this main hall when he was teaching. That night, Xue Qinghe, who was reading a book, seemed to sense something. He stood up and walked to the window. Soon, a pure blackbird swooped down from the sky and landed beside the window. Xue Qinghe took a secret letter from the bird's feet and opened it to read. At first, he was all smiles, but after reading it, he frowned slightly. The letter said that after half a year of secret investigation, they had locked onto a target in a small town in the soul-hunting forest in the southern part of the empire. The target's name was Thanos. He was about 18 years old and should be a soul king. These 2 points didn't mean much, but the most important thing was that the mask worn by this person called Thanos was exactly the same as the one given by Xue Qinghe. Because of this, the investigators immediately locked onto Thanos. But the problem was that this Thanos had suddenly disappeared. No one knew where he went. Only a person called Black Tiger Afu said that he was his assistant. In this letter, it was asking if they should capture Black Tiger Afu directly. Capture or not, these 2 choices would have completely different results. If they chose to capture him, they might be able to obtain some information, but they would become enemies with Thanos and alert the enemy. This wasn't what Xue Qinghe wanted to see. The reason why he chose to secretly investigate Lin Feng was because he wanted to interact with him. After all, he also wanted to befriend such a young genius. He might even become a key part of his future plans. If they chose not to capture him, they could only wait for Thanos to appear. After pondering for a moment, Xue Qinghe finally chose not to capture him. He wrote down the order and returned it to the blackbird. After the blackbird flew into the sky, Xue Qinghe looked at the starry sky and sighed. If you don't show up, I'll personally look for you when the days of learning in the Seven Treasures Glaze sect are over. Lin Feng was such a genius, but the most important thing was that Xue Qinghe couldn't find any organization that had such a person. In other words, Lin Feng was very likely a free soul master. To Xue Qinghe, this kind of person was like a firefly in the dark night, so eye-catching. Lin Feng didn't know that Xue Qinghe's decision had saved him some trouble. Just like that, the days passed steadily and surely. Half a year later, taking advantage of the holidays, Lin Feng came to the setting sun forest once again. This time, Lin Feng wasn't as cautious as before. His fourth soul skill was an extremely powerful AoE skill, and its power was comparable to a grenade's explosion. Furthermore, after a year of practice, its power could still be adjusted. Once, Lin Feng tested it in a secluded place and poured all of his soul power into it. TSK, that power was comparable to a small missile. Unfortunately, pouring all of his soul power into it and causing it to explode couldn't be used in a real battle. Because pouring in soul power required time, in that 1 or 2 seconds, the opponent would run away as soon as they sensed the danger. It couldn't hit at all, and could only be used for sneak attacks or target practice. But even so, a direct soul skill was already very powerful, and Lin Feng wasn't afraid of being surrounded by 10,000-year soul beasts. In this place where 10,000-year soul beasts roamed, Lin Feng walked steadily into the depths of the forest as if he was strolling in his own garden. Lin Feng's goal was very clear, and he needed a skill that could be used to escape or pursue. Therefore, Lin Feng's target was around 30,000-year soul beasts that could fly or were fast. 30,000-year soul beasts were even rarer than 10,000-year soul beasts, but Lin Feng's luck was pretty good. After 3 days, Lin Feng found a suitable soul beast for him. It was a 35,000-year netherworld civet. If he remembered correctly, this soul beast was Zhu Zhuqing's martial soul, and it was extremely fast. This cat was extremely fierce. As soon as it saw Lin Feng, it turned into a shadow and attacked Lin Feng before Lin Feng could show any hostility. Lin Feng slid down. He wasn't good at speed, and if this cat wanted to run, Lin Feng wouldn't be able to do anything about it. He didn't expect it to deliver itself to him. At the same time that he used his third soul skill, Lin Feng's fourth black soul ring also became dark and shiny. In the next second, a blazing fire lotus flew straight towards the netherworld civet. The latter's hair stood on end as it sensed danger and quickly retreated. However, it was too late. The fire lotus exploded, and a blazing energy surged in all directions, flipping the cat over. The netherworld civet was close to 30,000 years old. Its speed and attack were extremely powerful, but its defense was extremely low, and it suffered quite a bit of damage. Lin Feng wanted to take advantage of its weakness to take its life. As soon as the cat flew through the air, Lin Feng's second soul ring began to shine. Dark purple balls of energy flew out and quickly wrapped around the cat. The cat struggled non-stop, but in the face of the machine gun-like firepower, it couldn't escape. Ever since he'd failed to defeat the Fireweaver monkey, Lin Feng had made up his mind to upgrade this soul skill to a 10,000-year soul ring. Finally, a month ago, Lin Feng had accumulated enough experience to upgrade it to a 10,000-year soul ring. That's right, he'd spent over 3 million experience points to upgrade it. He'd spent 1 million to upgrade it from a 9,000-year soul ring to a 10,000-year soul ring, and a little over 2 million to upgrade it from a 3,000-year soul ring to a 9,000-year soul ring. There was nothing he could do about it. Upgrading a 1,000-year soul ring required 300 experience points. Although it was expensive, for the sake of increasing the soul skill's power. It was worth it. Just now, the netherworld civet seemed like it wanted to run away. If it weren't for the fact that Lin Feng's second soul ring had increased its speed, he wouldn't have been able to catch it. Of course, the main point of upgrading his second soul ring to a 10,000-year soul ring wasn't its speed, but rather its ability to attack multiple targets. As long as Lin Feng wanted to, he could stand in a crowd and instantly bind them from all angles. No matter how fast his hand speed was before, it couldn't compare to his current ability. Furthermore, his steel attribute had increased from 10% to 15%, and his paralysis effect had also increased. If Lin Feng's previous attempt to steal other people's attributes to challenge Douluo was a delusion, then with this new soul skill, that delusion might actually become a reality. After thinking so much, the bound netherworld civet finally stopped struggling and stopped moving. Lin Feng's heart didn't waver in the slightest. He even used Shadow Bind on the cat a few more times. Sure enough, the cat began to thrash about violently. A faint black light emerged from its body, as if it wanted to assimilate the net of energy. Douluo. Lin Feng's staff smashed into the cat's body. Little thing, you're still playing dead. Another strike. This time, the cat was completely silent. Chapter 50. After it fainted, Lin Feng felt a surge of energy coming from the cat. It seemed that it really had fainted. Only then did Lin Feng slowly melt the huge net. Then, he chopped the cat with one slash. Ding! After a thrilling battle, the host has slain the year 34,952 Netherworld Civet. Combat experience has increased. Experience points plus 75124. When the soul ring appeared, Lin Feng didn't hesitate at all and immediately absorbed it into his body. After half a minute of digesting, Lin Feng exhaled lightly. Awesome! The 30,000-year soul ring had strengthened Lin Feng's body by a large margin. Furthermore, this soul skill was truly amazing. Lin Feng named this soul skill Netherworld Force. When used, Lin Feng could turn into a shadow and hide between reality and nothingness. He was immune to most attacks, and his speed was 10 times faster, and the duration was 1 minute. Whether it was escaping or chasing, this skill was a godly one. With Lin Feng's current body, even a titled battle pet warrior like Douluo wouldn't be able to catch up to him. Furthermore, the increase in strength was terrifying. Think about it. He could appear in front of you from 30 to 40 meters away. It would be fine if he was vigilant, but if it was a sneak attack, Lin Feng could even kill a soul sage. Name: Lin Feng Martial Souls, 1000 Trickster Ruler, Immeasurable Flower Soul Power, Rank 52, plus Soul Ring, Snow Lotus, 999 years, plus Ghost Head Predatory Spider, 10,000 years, plus Armored Bear, 5,000 years, plus Fireweaver Monkey, 14,154 years, plus Hell Civet, 34,952 years, plus Experience, 415421 rank, 50 soul power required 100,000 experience points to increase by 1 rank. Lin Feng didn't even have enough experience points to increase his soul power rank, let alone increase the age of his soul ring. The reason wasn't the age of the soul beast, but the fact that he had fought too many soul beasts. Logically speaking, killing a 30,000-year-old soul beast should give at least 200,000 experience points. Now, he only had 70,000, which was really too little. But it didn't matter. If quality wasn't good enough, quantity would make up for it. Since there was still more than half of the holiday left, Lin Feng decided to stay in the setting sun forest and look for soul beasts to fight and gain experience. However, soul beasts over 30,000 years of age were smarter and had larger territories. On average, it took Lin Feng a day to find a soul beast. After finding it, Lin Feng couldn't kill it. He could only let it go and wait a few days before coming back to find it. Actually, Lin Feng had thought of a way to earn experience points a long time ago, and that was to specifically catch a soul beast and kill it. I'll beat him up again after the system calculates the experience points. However, that wouldn't work because the same soul beast would only give experience once a day. Furthermore, you can't lock up the soul beasts. Although locked up soul beasts will still give you experience on the second day, it's very little. It's better than nothing. Therefore, even if Lin Feng specifically went to earn experience points, his speed wasn't very fast. After a month, Lin Feng had earned less than 1,000,000 experience points, of which 800,000 was used by Lin Feng to increase his level. At this time, Lin Feng's soul power was at rank 60, but his experience points were only at 600,000. In the past month, he had fought with soul beasts for experience and also to train himself. Anyway, as long as it wasn't a fatal injury, he could heal it. Furthermore, he had a life-saving skill like netherworld energy. Sometimes, Lin Feng would even look for excitement and go deep into the forest. During this time, Lin Feng seemed to have heard the roar of 100,000-year soul beast. He clearly didn't see it, but he had a feeling that it was 100,000-year soul beast. School was about to start, so Lin Feng prepared to leave in a few days. Of course, before leaving, Lin Feng wanted to kill the soul beast he had been eyeing. This was a soul beast he had been eyeing for half a month. It was a flying-type lightning falcon. Although it was only 38,000 years old, which was far from the 60,000 years Lin Feng had estimated, just this flying-type soul beast was enough to move Lin Feng. The main reason was that flying-type soul beasts were too few and too hard to catch. After observing for an entire month, there were only 3 flying-type soul beasts over 30,000 years old in the vicinity. This lightning falcon was one of them. As for the other 2, one was a 50,000-year thunder eagle, and the other was a 40,000-year giant winged vulture. Those 2 fellows lived in the depths of the forest. Lin Feng didn't even dare to go past them, let alone catch them. There was only one lightning falcon in the vicinity. After observing it, it would go out at noon every day and come back at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Lin Feng took advantage of this time to sneak into its nest and wait for it to come back. The following matters were simple. Lin Feng was like an assassin who grasped information. At the most suitable time, he activated netherworld energy, iron-armored demonic bear transformation. The 1,000 trickery ruler transformed into a spear. A cold light flashed, and the spear shot out like a dragon. In an instant, the lightning falcon didn't even have the chance to react before it was killed. A 38,000-year soul beast was equivalent to a weaker soul sage. Lin Feng's strength had improved by leaps and bounds, so he should be equivalent to a stronger soul sage. But after absorbing this 6th soul ring, Lin Feng wouldn't have to fear even soul Douluo. As he thought about it, Lin Feng absorbed the lightning falcon soul ring that had just appeared. The soul ring contained the power of lightning. When he absorbed it, Lin Feng felt his body go numb and his hair stand on end. It was very interesting. Name: Lin Feng Martial Soul, 1,000 Trickery Ruler, Immeasurable Flower Soul Power, Rank 62, plus Soul Ring, Snow Lotus 999 years, plus Ghost Head Predatory Spider 10,000 years, plus Iron Armored Bear 5,000 years, plus Fireweaver Monkey 14,154 years, plus Netherworld Civet 34,952 years, plus Lightning Falcon 38,461 years, plus experience points 635,421 after rank 60. The experience points required to level up was 300,000. Lin Feng's current experience points were only enough for him to level up 2 times. It had to be said that the higher the rank, the more experience points required. The early stages weren't too bad, but one could imagine that in the future, one would need 1,000,000 or even 10,000,000. Lin Feng didn't have that much experience points. It seemed that he had to put his own cultivation on the agenda. Lin Feng also wanted to increase the age of his soul ring, but a 10,000-year soul ring required 1,000 experience points. Wasn't that daylight robbery? Lin Feng wanted a 100,000-year soul ring, but he had to wait. Although Lin Feng was vexed about the experience points, the soul skill of his 6th soul ring made Lin Feng very happy. 6th soul skill, Wings of Lightning. This was the flying type soul skill Lin Feng yearned for even in his dreams. It allowed him to condense the power of lightning into a pair of wings, allowing him to fly extremely fast and attack with lightning that could paralyze his enemies. Most importantly, this pair of wings could explode, and the resulting lightning could even injure Soul Douluo. Even a soul sage wouldn't be able to withstand it without using his martial soul true body. Chapter 51. He knew how to fly. Lin Feng knew how to fly. Lin Feng had just obtained a flying-type soul skill, so he didn't even look at where he was before spreading his wings and flying. However, before he could rejoice, two giant eagles flew out from the depths of the forest. Lin Feng recognized one of them. It was the 50,000-year Thunder Eagle. It was probably attracted by Lin Feng's burst of lightning power. The other eagle was golden all over. It was most likely a golden eagle. As for its age, he couldn't tell from the distance. Damn. 777, 777, 777, 70,000 soul beasts. Lin Feng might have dared to deal with a 50,000-year soul beast, but when the 70,000-year golden eagle appeared, Lin Feng had better run. Without hesitation, Lin Feng activated his netherworld energy. The speed of his thunder wings was already very fast, and with the support of the netherworld energy, it was simply a whole new world. The scenery around him even turned into lines, giving off the feeling of traveling through time. When the duration of the netherworld energy ended, Lin Feng actually flew out of the setting sun forest. This speed was simply too fast. Lin Feng was still a little dazed. No, the speed of the two added together was too high. Lin Feng himself was a little unable to control it. He could use it to escape, but in a real battle, before Lin Feng mastered it, he definitely wouldn't use it. But then again, the feeling of flying was really good. That kind of unrestrained, free, and smooth experience in the white clouds really surprised Lin Feng. Originally, he wanted to return to Nodding City immediately, but because of the flight, Lin Feng played around for 3 days before he returned. Nodding City, a place where dreams began. Here, Lin Feng could learn to his heart's content and disguise to his heart's content. There were very few people around who could even see through the first layer of his disguise. This kind of expert's life was really simple and boring. In the blink of an eye, for years had passed. The school welcomed the graduation season that they were most proud of. These 3 rank 29 graduates were a miracle for the Nodding Elementary Soul Master Academy. It was unknown how many universities had extended an olive branch to Tang San and the other 2. However, what they did not know was that this was just their first layer of disguise. Yes, because of Lin Feng's intervention, not only did Tang San and Xiao Wu become stronger than before, but they also learned how to disguise themselves. On the surface, the 2 of them were rank 29 Soul Grandmasters, but with Lin Feng's secret help, Tang San was already rank 34, and Xiao Wu was rank 31. As for Lin Feng himself, he was very capable. He didn't use any experience points to increase his soul power rank, and relied on his own cultivation to forcefully increase it from 62 to 69. Moreover, Lin Feng had a strong will in his heart this time. He wanted to completely rely on himself to reach level 70. Alright, regarding experience points, Lin Feng basically went to the setting sun forest to farm experience points during the holidays for the past 4 years. However, after these 4 years, the amount of experience points he gained from fighting soul beasts was very little. Even if it was a 50,000-year soul beast, he would only get 10 to 20,000. However, there was always a way out. Lin Feng realized that as he read more and more books and learned more and more knowledge, his spiritual power became stronger and stronger. In these 4 years, Lin Feng's spiritual power had increased greatly twice. The first time, the system rewarded him with 500,000 experience points, and the second time, it gave him even more, directly giving him 2 million. There were experience points for increasing his spiritual power, fighting soul beasts, and some daily training. In total, there were about 7 million experience points. Of course, Lin Feng did not keep all of them. Among them, 2.5 million were used to strengthen Lin Feng's 3rd soul ring. The 10,000-year armor demonic bear transformation not only increased attack and defense, but also increased all of his attributes by 4 times. Right now, if Lin Feng was in his peak state, he could even take on a titled Douluo who was slightly weaker. Wasn't a titled Douluo the poisonous Douluo Dugabo? In other words, Lin Feng's fighting strength was equivalent to Dugabo's. Although this description was somewhat belittling of Dugabo, it was true that he was simply too weak. After 4 years of meditation, although there were not many changes to his stats, Lin Feng knew that his strength had changed too much. Name: Lin Feng Martial Soul, 1000 Trickster Ruler, Immeasurable Flower Soul Power. Rank 69, plus Soul Ring. Snow Lotus 999 years, plus Ghost Head Predatory Spider 10,000 years, plus Armored Bear 10,000 years, plus Fireweaver Monkey 14,154 years, plus Nether Civet 34,952 years, plus Lightning Falcon 38,461 years, plus experience points 5835421 during the graduation ceremony. Lin Feng and the other two were the main characters. The sole divine sex principal, who did not have much of a presence, gave a graduation speech and praised the strength of the three. At this moment, Lin Feng was slightly rueful. Those cute students who flattered him every day to earn money would soon be gone. Wait a minute. I seem to have added some strange words. Flattering him to earn money? That's right. Starting from his 3rd year, the bored and rich Lin Feng did some strange things. After all, the life of a rich person was too dull. Lin Feng would sometimes sit in the field and feel bored. As long as a student praised him with 3 different sentences, Lin Feng would give them a silver coin. Silver coins were nothing to Lin Feng, but to these students, it was a huge sum of money. In the beginning, Lin Feng was just playing around out of boredom. He didn't plan to do it a second time. However, this matter spread, and for a period of time, there were always people who flattered Lin Feng for no reason. Lin Feng also felt that this was very interesting, so he kept giving them silver coins. With his powerful memory, Lin Feng would not only stop those who wanted to take advantage of him, but would also take away the money he gave them. Just like that, the scene of poor students trying to curry favor with Lin Feng to earn money became a beautiful scene. Now that he had graduated, he felt that it was quite interesting. Now that he was standing on the graduation stage, Lin Feng felt emotional and pushed the principal away. He stood in the middle and shouted, "Come, students present. After I count to 3, you will shout 'Fenggu is so handsome' 3 times. I will give each of you a gold coin. 3, 2, 1. Fenggu is so handsome. Fenggu is so handsome. Fenggu is so handsome." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng waved his hand, and a few hundred gold coins accurately landed in the hands of every student. Even Tang San and Xiao Wu each got one. This time, Lin Feng didn't ask for them to shout, so the students also shouted. "Fenggu is so handsome. Fenggu is so cool. Fenggu is so awesome." The voices of hundreds of people echoed in the academy. It looked funny, but there was an inexplicable power that shook people's hearts. That's right, that was the power of money. P.S. The plot of Nodding City is finished. Next is the Shrek Academy. Looking for recommendation votes, looking for support. Chapter 52. All good things must come to an end. Although Nodding City gave Lin Feng many beautiful memories, the 3 of them still left in the end. They didn't accept any invitation from any famous academies, such as Heavendoe Imperial Academy, Songhui Academy, etc. These places were all rejected by Tang San. Under the master's suggestion, Tang San chose to go to the Shrek Academy near Soto City. Of course, before going, Tang San asked for Lin Feng's opinion. If Lin Feng didn't want to go, Tang San would go with Lin Feng even if he disobeyed his teacher's wishes. Whether it was his identity as an older brother or Lin Feng's, "I'll accompany you," when Su Yuntao awakened them. In any case, Lin Feng was already the most important person in Tang San's life apart from his father. Xiao Wu and the master were ranked behind Lin Feng. Fortunately, Lin Feng didn't have any opinions about the choice of academy. He could go anywhere. Shrek Academy. Although it was run down and small, its teachers could be said to be the best in the entire continent. For example, Zhao Wuji, Flanders, and the others were all soul masters with rich battle experience. They were much stronger than the theoretical soul masters in other academies. Lin Feng had many things to learn from these people. Of course, meeting the famous Shrek 7 monsters was also an important reason for Lin Feng's choice. Soto City was located in the center of the plains, which was the most fertile plains in the Bala Kingdom. Even the Martial Soul Hall was built here as the Martial Soul Main Hall, which was overseen by Soul Douluo. From this, one could see how prosperous Soto City was. Soto City was still very far from Noting City. They had to go through Fastno Province and then cross half of the kingdom. In the middle, they had to pass through dozens of big and small cities. The three of them played and walked along the way. It would probably take them more than half a month to reach their destination. During this period, Lin Feng made a trip to the soul-hunting forest and announced that he would no longer accept any more orders. Regarding this, everyone in the town expressed their strong regret. After all, Black Tiger, no ordinary attack, king of flirting, Ah Fu was leaving. However, his departure was a noble one, because his words would be passed down in the town forever and even spread to the entire continent. Cough cough, this situation was actually unintentionally caused by Lin Feng. Previously, when Lin Feng was disguised as Thanos, Lin Feng wasn't strong and didn't have any money on him. Of course, he was nervous. Therefore, Lin Feng had been very quiet for more than a year, working hard for experience and gold coins. Afterwards, when he transformed into Black Tiger Fu, Lin Feng already had the confidence to face some dangers. He didn't need to be as cautious as before. In addition, with Xiao San and Xiao Wu by his side, his mood became more relaxed. He even started to play the role of Black Tiger Fu in this alternate world. Because of Wei Wei's funny behavior, the bosses that Lin Feng and the other two brought along were not as reserved as before. They would often communicate with them and the like. This also created a good influence. After those bosses came to town, they would talk about some interesting things that happened in the forest. The most magical ones were the names of Lin Feng's moves. For example, crows flying, elephants kicking, rats walking in mazes, tornadoes destroying parking lots, and so on. At first, they thought that these were the names of Lin Feng's soul skills. Later on, they realized that he was just randomly shouting them. Just like that, as time passed, the king of flirting, Ah Fu, with no ordinary attack, and Super Ah Fu were spread. Especially the names of the various moves. They spread faster and more widely. Even in the town, people could often see people imitating them. Therefore, the people in town felt that it was a pity that Lin Feng had to leave. However, they didn't have to worry about bringing people over. Because Lin Feng's reputation had spread, the town's reputation in the nearby cities had also spread. Not only did soul masters come over every day, but even soul ancestors came over to bring people over. It could be said that Lin Feng had single-handedly changed the situation of the town. Over the past few years, the town was much more prosperous than before. Oh right, I forgot to mention Xiao Ying. 2 years ago, Lin Feng sent Xiao Ying to the Star Do Great Forest. Perhaps because it had absorbed a large amount of life energy, its cultivation speed was very fast. It was delayed in the soul-hunting forest, so Lin Feng sent it to the Star Do Great Forest, where soul power was rich. Not long ago, Lin Feng went to see it once. Its strength had already reached the 5,000-year level. After finishing his business in the town, Lin Feng continued to meet up with Tang San and the others and rushed toward Soto City. 10 days later, 3 leisurely young people walked in from the west gate of Soto City. The 3 of them were dressed in plain clothes. But if one looked carefully, they would see that the material of their clothes was the best silk. They were all handmade and were very expensive. This was probably what rich people meant by low-key. There was no other way. They had too much money and nowhere to spend it. Lin Feng had more than 100,000 gold coins on him now. Tang San and Xiao Wu probably had tens of thousands of gold coins as well. There were too few places to spend money in Noting City, so they were quite ambitious in terms of quality of life. Soto City is really prosperous. It's much more prosperous than Noting City. Tang San sighed. After all, Soto City was one of the 2 major cities of the Bala Kingdom. It was also located at the border. Not only was it prosperous, The army and soul masters here were much stronger than other places. On the streets, there were patrolling soldiers everywhere. People dressed up as soul masters could be seen everywhere. Yeah, this is the biggest city I've seen on my way here, Xiao Wu exclaimed. Lin Feng smiled and did not say anything. He only looked around to see if there was anything good to eat. On the Douluo continent, because of the backward times, transportation was very inconvenient. It was still okay for soul masters, but some ordinary people might not even be able to walk 100 miles in their entire lives. Because of this, it was very difficult for some local culture and delicacies to spread. To Lin Feng, every time he went to a place, he would try the local delicacies. It was a small habit that he had developed. The Shrek Academy's enrollment period is 3 days later. Let's find a hotel to stay in first. After that, we can move around freely in the city for the next 2 days. Okay. This place is quite big. I want to take a good look around. Xiao Wu raised both her hands in agreement with Lin Feng's idea. I'm not going to play. My teacher told me that the Shrek Academy's enrollment requirements are very harsh. I've been playing all the way here. I'm going to rest well for the next few days to ensure that I'm in peak condition. Although the master had told Tang San that with his current strength, he could enter the Shrek Academy, Tang San still felt that it was not safe. After all, the master had also mentioned that the Shrek Academy was an academy that specialized in accepting monsters. And in a small city like Notting City, there were 3 geniuses like him, Xiao Wu and Feng Ge. Then, for the master to say that an academy that only accepted monsters, how powerful would it be? It would probably be at least a 12-year-old soul elder.